Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Àmín. A dúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run. A ṣe ẹ̀yìn fún Ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ọba tí òlẹ́gbẹ̀ra, ọba àná, ọba ìní, ọba gbogbo ayérayé. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hali. Alhamdulillah qabla kulli hali. Alhamdulillah ba'da kulli hali. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Láì ní fi àkókò wa ṣòfò, atọrọ àforíjì látara àwọn nǹkan kéékèèké kan ni ò jẹ́ kí a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní àsìkò tí ó yẹ kí a bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ọlọ́run sì kádàrá ẹ̀ pásìkò tí a fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lénìí nìyẹn. Kí Ọlọ́run jọ̀ọ́ k'Ọlọ́run ṣe àforíjì fún ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wa, ògo Ọlọ́run. A kí àwọn ìyá wa Hajiya Fadilat Adébísí, kí Ọlọ́run bá ṣe dáadáa fún wọn, ilal amami insha Allah. Bákan náà ìyá wa Balkis Savage láti London, kí Ọlọ́run bá kí yín, ògo Ọlọ́run. Bákan náà a kí ìyá wa Rashida, Alhaja wa Rashida Akéwùṣọlá, ilal amami insha Allah. Ní tí a máa gbójú wọlé ní insha Allah náà ni the assault, causes, effects, prevention and response, inshallah. Without wasting much of our time, I will go to Alhaja wa Rashida Akéwùṣọlá. Kí ni à ń pè ní assault? Kí la lè pè ní assault, inshallah. Bismillah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalam ala khairi halkihi wa nuri arshi afdalul anbiya'i wal mursalin habibina wa sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadur Rasulullah wa ala ali wa sahabi ajma'in. Bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. We give glory to Almighty Allah for bringing us back here today again. It is not by our might, not by our knowing or doing. We give glory to Him. We adore Him. Pray that everything that we'll be discussing here today will be beneficial to everyone watching now and those that will go back to watch at a later time. May we never be found wanting with anything that we'll say here today. May it be taken from us as an act of ibadah. Without wasting much of our time, I think Imam asked me, what is assault? Assault. I will use a layman because I know that we have a specialist in the house. We have the professional in the house that is going to do real justice to this topic. But as a layman, I'm just going to try my best by saying that an assault is an act of inflicting physical harm or non-consented physical contact on another person, or the threat or attempt of doing so. What do we mean by this? In a nutshell, let's look at it from a common law perspective. When we look at it in this way, we have something that we call assault and we have something that we call battery. That is under the common law system. So here it is differentiated. Assault is an attempt to do something, a threat to want to do something. It's not actually doing it, but you have the intention to do it. While battery in this situation is actual physical contact, actual doing it. If I attempt to give you a slap, that's an assault. But if I actually slap you, I whack you, that's a battery. So so that is assault, that is battery. But under Scots law and civil law, there is no demarcation, there is no differentiation on of assault and battery. So it is referred to as assault, where it means that both assault and battery, they are the same. They are categorized as assault, and it can be different in severity. So we may have simple assault, we may have aggravated assault, we may have the ones that are causing bodily harm to the person. So assault is assault in this situation without any differentiation, and it is two-edged issue, because it can be a crime and it can be a tort. So whereby a tort is that a civil action against someone that cause harm or loss to that person, that to the complainant, and makes the perpetrator liable under the legal system. So the perpetrator may be tried legally, like under civil acts, or maybe under common law. So that's why it can be two-edged and can be both. So it can be crime and it can be a civil offense at the same time. So when it is aggravated, that is the extent of the damage caused is enormous. So in that situation, it will be criminally looked at. But when it is minimal or there is no harm, then it will be like a common law, like a civil situation, kind of. So so in a nutshell, that is what we mean by by assault. And I think so under this, in a different legal system, like different countries, different nations, they deal with it different way, depending on the authority or the ways and manner of the legal system in that particular area. So like in Canada now, we will say a simple assault will be looked into as a common law issue, while the aggravated one that is causing bodily harm is like a felony in the United States of America, and would be a statutory problem in England, Wales, and that and area. So it depends on the authority and the legal system of a particular area to deal with this assault or battery. But generally, under legal system, is referred to as assault. I will stop here for now.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. For our guest speaker, inshallah, ẹ máa bá wa fi Yorùbá díẹ̀ sí nítorí àwọn ìyá wa tí wọ́n wà nílé, káwọn náà lè máa gbọ́yé, ká lè mọ̀ tí wọ́n tí à ń pè ní assault àtàwọn nǹkan tí a fẹ́ sọ, inshallah. A wá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ajé àwa Fọdílà Adébísí, ipe kí ni Islam, ojú wo ni Islam fi wo assault, àbí kí la lè pè ní assault nínú Islam gangan? Bismillah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi amdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fihi. Alhamdulillahi amdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fihi. Alhamdulillahi amdan, alhamdulillah shukran, alhamdulillahi la hawla, alhamdulillahi wa la quwwata, alhamdulillahi illa billahi. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Yakum salli ataskalibu salah, yakum salli ataskalibu salah. Rabbi ishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa halal uqdata min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li wazira min ahli Haruna akhi ushududu bi asri wa shiriku fi amrika nuzabi akan kathiran wa nashkuruka kathiran innaka kunta bina badhiran. Qala qad utita sulaka ya Musa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We appreciate the organizers of this program. I greet with all honor the guest speakers, co-guest speakers on this seminar. Mother all the way from England, UK, if I aren't mistaken. Mother all the way from Canada, if I aren't mistaken. We appreciate all your efforts towards propagation of Islam. May Allah Azza wa Jalla, in His infinite mercy, continue to guide you right and spare your life for Islam. What are we looking at today? My sister has started on a good footing. It's just for the remaining of us to now be failing because she started on a good note. Kini anom beleni unti anom be woni àwọn olóyìnbó wọ́n ní assault. Ní ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire, kí ni ìnira tí a kó báyàn látàrí wípé ẹ̀mí onítọ̀hún ó gbọ̀n jìjì, látàrí wípé ìpalára tó fojú rí àti ìpalára tí ò ṣe é fojú rí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹni tí à ń wí. Àbí kẹ̀ wípé ńkọ́ a ṣe nǹkan fún ẹni tí à ń wí tí ó lòdì sí ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọnìyàn ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìmájẹ́nìyàn tí kò wá láti ọkàn ẹ̀. We're looking at assault. Assault is looked at from a multifactorial angles. My sister has rightly said, what is applicable somewhere is not applicable on the other divide. Some people look at assault that yes, you make their intention, or you make somebody have the fear, or you grip at someone to making that person to shock or to nurse something that is grievous. Then you move ahead and strike. Then that person is being battered. While some people will say, even without you striking that person, Alhamdulillah, my sister is starting on a good note. She exemplified the case study of Canada. Looking at Canada, for example, where she has rightly started, they are of the opinion that you strike or you don't strike, the moment you cause an infliction on that particular person, then it is being said that you are committing an assault. You were about to do that thing, you ended up not doing that thing again. It's being regarded as an assault. From the United States point of view, they distinguish it. That what? You make their attempt, you make someone to wanting to fear of grief or something, then you're committing an assault. You actually carry out that act. Then it's turned to the act of being executing that act you want to carry on that person regarded as a victim. Then it's being regarded as battered. Meanwhile, in some other divide, it is not so. Some other divide, they carry out a prima facie when it becomes aggravated. So it's good. She's making the rest of us to wanting to bank on that good note she has started. What is the position of Islam? Kini angbeso. Ani wípé ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọnìyàn. A jẹ́ kí ìbẹ̀rù bojo kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí èèyàn. A jẹ́ kí ìbẹ̀rù bojo látàrí wípé a fẹ́ fi jàǹbá kan ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n gbà tí Islam máa bojú wò, Islam bojú wò from a very diverse perspective. ẹ máa wo nǹkan kan, ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí níbi tí Islam ti bojú wo, ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí báyìí. Islam sọ wípé kí ọkọ, ẹ máa wo sàtíà o, ẹ bá ń gbọ́ lọ́run tóbi.
Allahu Akbar.
Ẹ máa wo sàtíà o, Ọlọ́run ọba lékè ọlá ń sọ fún wa wípé kí ọkùnrin kúrò nílé fún àwọn àsìkò gbà kan, kó wá lọ́ngà, kó gara ju bá ṣe expect lọ, is regarded as an assault, as an abuse. Kabrullah.
Allahu Akbar.
Kí ọkùnrin kó fi bẹ́ẹ̀dì lẹ̀ fún ìyàwó ẹ̀, kò ń ṣe pé bóyá ìyàwó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kan o, torí wípé kí ni some part of the world wọ́n báǹkì lórí Suratul Nisa ẹsẹ̀ kọkàn 34, ẹ bá mi tún ẹsẹ̀ ẹtù ẹ máa fi lọ́kùnrin ẹsẹ̀ 34, ẹ bá mi sọ di Yorùbá. Àwọn làwọn most of the men wọ́n bank on kó jẹ́ pé kò sí yẹn ń bẹ̀, ọkùnrin dédé kọ bẹ́ẹ̀dì lẹ̀ látàrí ìmọ̀tara ẹni nìkan àbí ìmáṣe ìkan ní kọ̀ọ̀kọ̀, ẹni tí ẹjọ́ lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ síra yín tó jẹ́ ìyàwó ilé ó dédé kọ bẹ́ẹ̀dì lẹ̀. Islam tún fìyẹn sí under assault tí à ń sọ yìí. Financial obligation tí ọkùnrin ní tó fi ń jẹ́ rìjálù, torí pé tá bá wọnú súrà tí wọ́n ń sọ yẹn, tá bá wọnú àyà tí wọ́n ń sọ yẹn, wọ́n capitalize lórí rìjálù. Kò wá ṣe rìjálù nìkan ni wọ́n capitalize lé lórí, nǹkan mẹ́ta ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n capitalize lé lórí. Wàdìríbùnà gangan tí wọ́n capitalize lé lórí, tí wọ́n lo the word beat. It is not beat. It is a symbolical statement. It is a metaphorical statement. Òun lọ́lọ́run ṣe ń sọ, tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, tó lọ́n bá sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, tó sọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀, á sọ pé èyí ni fún àwọn tí ó lóye. It is not to beat. Lẹ́yìn tí ẹ bá ti ṣe àṣìǹbọ̀ lórí yẹn, ọkùnrin ìgbà tí Islam tún máa fojú wò wípé nǹkan tó bá kọ ojúṣe tó yẹ kó ṣe, wọ́n ti gbé sábẹ́ assault, wọ́n gbé sábẹ́ abuse. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wá wo èyí tó ṣojú ṣara o, èyí tó ṣojú ṣara gangan nínú ìtàn wí nínú Islam. Kí èèyàn ní ọkọ nílé kó tún máa lọ dọkà láàmú, ó wà lábẹ́ assault tí à ń sọ yìí. Kéèyàn máa lọ ṣe ìyàn àlè, ó wà lábẹ́ assault tí à ń sọ yìí. Kéèyàn máa lọ ṣe àgbèrè, ó wà lábẹ́ assault tí à ń sọ yìí. Àbí ti ẹ̀kọ́, kéèyàn máa wá fi tipátipá bá ẹni tí kò give consent, ó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sí kò lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sí is a concept on his own. But tí ò give consent, kéèyàn fi tipátipá bá ṣe, tí wọ́n ń pè ní rape, ó wà lábẹ́ ohun tí à ń sọ yìí. Yàtọ̀ sí rape yẹn, kéèyàn máa àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké tí ó wà ní abẹ́ àkàtà ẹni tí ó jẹ́, you see two sides of the coin. À ń wò láti ibi angle àwọn ọkùnrin, ṣùgbọ́n kò ní yà wá lẹ́nu pé ó tún wà ní angle àwọn obìnrin náà, ṣùgbọ́n ìkan kò pọ̀ jù kan lọ ni. Ọmọ kékeré tó wà lábẹ́ àkàtà wa, ká máa wá fi tipátipá, ká máa fi ṣe ohun tí ò lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sí. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀kọ́ àgbàlagbà tó wà lábẹ́ àkàtà wa, bóyá láti àsìkò ìtọ́jú. Let me just quickly set an example. Maybe you happen to be a caregiver taking care of an elderly person. As a caregiver, you happen to be a man, and you're taking care of an elderly person who happen to be a female. And in the course of taking care of that woman, maybe cleaning up and some other things, you are not fiddling, or let me say fondling. You are fiddling with the areas, sensitive areas, and you are being caught under the camera. This is a grievous offense. We can also be categorized under what my sister said the other time, that has been aggravated assault. Gbogbo àwọn kinní yìí ni Islam kú wọn pọ̀. Islam yànnànú ẹ̀ lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan wípé ńkọ́ tí a bá ṣe léyìí fún lágbájá eléyìí ó lòdì sí Islam, tí a bá ṣe léyìí fún làkàṣègbè eléyìí lòdì sí Islam. Tí a bá wo ibi tí Ọlọ́run ti ń sọ fún wa nínú Al-Qur'an, tí a bá lọ wo orí 24 ẹsẹ̀ 30, tí a lọ jẹ́ asáré lọ wo Suratu Nur. Nígbà tá a wo Suratu Nur, Ọlọ́run bá àwọn the Muslim men, the believers, the believing men, let them lower their gaze, let them guard their chastity, let them not draw their feet on the floor, and some other things. But let's now dovetail into the 31st, the 31 of that ayah, Surah An-Nur, where Allah was actually telling the believing women, because Bashirila Koni, before this can be categorized on different aspects of what we have mentioned earlier, there are some certain precautions. And especially as we Allah is telling the believing women that let them lower their gaze. Let the believing women lower their gaze. Let them guard their chastity. Let them draw their veil over their bosom. Let them not draw their feet on the floor. Let them not reveal the ornament that is being endowed on them. What are these ornaments? What are these ornaments? The ornaments are XYZ, starting from the earring, from the chain, all those, except what is actually revealed. When the hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was rendering an explanation on that ayah, the Prophet sallallahu said, that word, except what is ordinarily revealed, that is, the Prophet sallallahu mentioned the eyes. That's for those who leave their eyes, because some people, they prefer to use their niqab. And the Prophet ﷺ said, from the hand to the ankle, what is ordinarily revealed, and put hand on the feet to that ankle, what is ordinarily revealed. These are precautions. The precaution that women especially must take care of. Women need to take care of this in order to not to fall a victim, in order not to be victims of circumstances. There is another higher in that same line. If I aren't mistaken, that should be verse 59. If I aren't mistaken, that should be verse 59. Quran 33 verse 59. They always make use of this too. That the Prophet, talking to the Prophet ﷺ, say, tell your wives and daughters and the believing women that they should cast their outer garment. I'm still talking about rendering explanation on that ayah. Sometimes you use Quran to explain Quran. Sometimes you use tafsir to explain Quran. I've used tafsir of Rasulullah the other time. Let's now use another ayah to explain that same ayah. Another ayah. That's verse 59. Tell your wives and daughters and their believing women that they should cast their outer garment over their persons when out of doors. This is most convenient, that they should be known as such and not molested. That is what we want to use there, that they should be known as such and not molested. Let us underline the word molested. That they should be known as such and not molested. Let's quickly look at the Nigerian scene. The Nigerian experience. They should be known as such and not molested. If you are at the bus stop, our popular bus stop, we call bus stop in Nigeria, our popular name bus stop, and you're well dressed. You're dressed, you're carrying the emblem, the logo of Islam, you put in your veil, you lower it over your bosom, and you're well dressed. You will not be taken for roga, or you will not be taken for any illicit act or any conductor. The popular name conductor that we use in Nigeria will not just come and meet you and pull you that you should come and enter their buses or something, the way they used to do in the Nigerian scene.
Allah Akbar.
So that you should be known. The one you should be known in that higher, that verse 59 of that Quran 33, that you should be known and not molested. We are using that higher. That ayah, we are using it to explain verse 31 of Quran 24. After using the tafsir. So these are the precautions that Islam has laid far before the existence of the law.
Allah Akbar.
To avoid immorality. Imam, you want me to stop?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Nítorí àsìkò níta fẹ́ fojú ó ṣì pọ̀. Àwọn ìyá wa wà nílé, ẹ bá ẹ ṣàánú wa nítorí tọ́lọ́ àtànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ẹ má bá rúpọ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀, inshallah. We now go to our Alhaja Bilqis Savage. What is the legal view about assault? Inshallah. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Adúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run, adúpẹ́ torí pé gbogbo ọjọ́ ọpẹ́ la máa dún. Mo dúpẹ́ yí pé ó tún jọ́ mẹ́ta tí mo ti wà lórí ètò. Ọlọ́run wá kádàrá yí pé a bá jọ ṣe ètò lénìí. A ṣe Ramadan. Mo fi pé first program after Ramadan ni. Ọlọ́run wá ká àwọn tàjọ máa ṣe adúpẹ́ torí gbogbo ọjọ́ ọpẹ́ ni. Ó tún wá jẹ́jọ́ Jímọ̀ ọjọ́ ńlá last Friday for me adúpẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́ pé gbogbo àti bá wá sórí ètò yìí, èmi náà learn sí ni. Today is a learning day because nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí kò síbi tí ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀, gbogbo àgbáyé ló ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. No matter what legal system tí a bá ń lò, assault is assault anywhere. Ìyàtọ̀ kọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni. Aggravated assault ìyàtọ̀ náà díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni bí ara sísá mi ṣe sọ. Ṣùgbọ́n inú mi dùn torí pé mo fẹ́ fi kún àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n ti sọ. Assault ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ nínú ilé ó ṣẹlẹ̀ ń ta. That's really one of the key things. Torí pé láàrin society wa, assault can be verbal, assault can be physical, assault can be emotional. And especially when it comes to children of vulnerable people, it is taken seriously. So to my way, you commit assault via mama so to vulnerable people in this country, it's more aggravated within the legal system. It is more aggravated. And I think I remember a case in America. It was an elderly woman that was in care that was actually raped by the carer. And she was pregnant, Muroti. And there's been instances in England as well where the carer, and it saddens me actually, the carer has abused the patient. That's aggravated by the circumstances because the person being careful rely on the person and they've been abused physically. So the legal view is the difference is the aggravation with the circumstances because bí màmá wa ṣe sọ tó bá ọmọ tó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sí tó bá bá ṣe that's just unheard for but ó ṣẹlẹ̀. And one of the things tí mo dúpẹ́ fún ni pé today's program is assault causes effect prevention and response. Patient sorrow ara prevention, because we're educating people, we're raising awareness. And I'm glad it's a very sensitive topic. It is a bold topic. And I had to think about the way this is part of the education we need in our community. You come by I'm fair song by me. So you pay you know, so the legal view is when it happens, it should be dealt with. In England, assault, you can be jailed for up to 6 months. And I think more or less similar sentences all over across the world. Aggravated assault, it could be 2 years up to longer. America, I think, is even longer, up to 20 years. Otherwise, when it's racially assaulted, it is taken seriously as well. It is taken seriously. But I got to fair your assault is a minor thing. It can be serious as well. Because sometimes you see a family situation, I don't want to say marriage, but sometimes family situation, woman creates assault. And I am educating people about this. Can be viewed as verbal assault. Threatening people is assault. And the legal view is quite serious because, God of Derubayon. Nibishe Ofiwa. So you continue to shame Bishe Agbodo Buwale. If you can when you walk, koba mi warin ye. Elomi tó bá dé Bishe angel ni. Tó bá dé lule terror ni. So I think people need to understand, if you cannot commit a crime at work, you shouldn't do it at home or in the family setting. I want to draw that out. It is quite, you know, yes, my sister did well. It can be minor, it can be major. But I want to draw out the view that, you know, sometimes we take it for granted the things we do at home and we don't do it outside. And people suffer in silence. Elomi are family member ba yara mama gboni torí pé kò mọ nǹkan tó máa expect ó ṣe bá bá sọ̀rọ̀ tó dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe lọ́hùn kò dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe àwọn èèyàn ara ẹ̀ mama gbọ́ ló máa ti ní fún wa yẹn torí that fear, like my sister bóyá ti threaten ẹ̀ ọjọ́ iwájú wọ́n ti ṣe kíní kan ara ẹ̀ mama gbọ́ni. So our appeal to our community to be mindful of that. You know, yes, assault can be minor, it can be major, depending on what, but it is still a crime. And by mama she so if you alone can tell it, it should be peaceful. As our prophet lived with the wife, with the community, our prophet is an exemplary, you know, leader. You know, and for me, I always refer to that. Our prophet lived I mean, you know, within the community, the stories we hear, you know, with his wife, with the community. But more piety change. Are you of that the one see or important for Katwani understanding pé tí o bá ṣe nǹkan, especially tẹ́ pé a lè ṣe níta, a lè ṣe community, ká máa nírántí pé àwọn ọmọ wa ń kọ́ṣe wa ṣe. That's another aspect mo tún fẹ́ draw. Torí nǹkan tá bá ṣe ní tá bá rò pé kò matter, àwọn ọmọ yẹn wọ́n kọ́ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ máa rí nǹkan tẹ́ pé kò dáa. We're the role models. We're the role models. Some children have seen and witnessed certain instances that way it is wrong within the law, but they don't know. They don't know. They've seen it in the family setting. They don't know. They've seen it in their community. They don't know. And you be surprised. And it's like, it happens but I didn't know. I wasn't told. So when we talk about assault, you know, aggravated assault, it is a crime. I want to draw that. It is wrong. Islamically, legally, it is wrong. And it carries serious sentences, you know. And the other thing, the crime perpetrator can be the woman or a man. It happens both sides. Tóbìnrin bá lówó jọkọ ẹ̀ lọ kò bí pé kó máa abuse ọkọ ẹ̀. Tóbìnrin bá lówó tó lọ bá gbóbìnrin ga kò mí pé kó tọkọ ẹ̀ máa ní fúyà pé bí mo kàn ti rú ìyàwó tí wàá ti lọ bá lélẹ̀ ni o tó yẹ kó máa ọkọ ẹ̀ á dìdì rìn kalẹ̀. Torí pé justice lọ́lọ́run fẹ́ ká dẹ̀ ṣe dé láàrin ara wa. Báwo obìnrin ṣe sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ kí ọkọ wa ṣe déédéé, àwọn obìnrin náà láti ní ìmọ̀ pé ká ṣe déédéé. We must not terrorize our family, our husband, just because Allah has blessed us. Because, like I said, assault can be verbal, can be physical, can be emotional by virtue of our behavior. So what we cannot do outside, we should not do inside. And if we do it, sometimes it can lead to the legal system intervening, and actually a woman or a man can find themselves actually going to jail for it. I have seen instances where, you know, ìyàwó àti pamọ́ra pé ọkọ òun àwọn ariwo táìlómi bá ń gbọ́ àwọn nípa náà máa fi pọ̀ ọlọ́pàá ó ti happen in England tẹ́ pé obìnrin yẹn ti ń gbà mọ́ra ààbò láṣìírí vice versa níjọ́kùn tó bá pọ̀ ọlọ́pàá ó ti di kó dọ̀rọ̀ ọlọ́pàá nìyẹn, and they will charge the person for assault. Now, when we talk about it, yes, it could be a minor scratch. The fact that you've actually inflicted something on somebody, or to the criminal justice system here. The fact there is a mark, it might be, or there might be a bruise, or to the legal system. Ìjọba máa dá sí, because ó ti no ní tọ̀ more or less kò tiẹ̀ ti nà yẹn ni àpótí wà lára ẹ̀. Ìfòyà yìí pé ó tiẹ̀ tí wàá fún ní fúnwèé yẹn ó tún ti jẹ̀bi. So kí Ọlọ́run kọ́ gbogbo wa mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe, Ọlọ́run kó dára. I always counsel people pé ìbínú máa wà, èdè àìyedè máa wà, ṣùgbọ́n that patience, because ara profession that fẹ́ tọ́ náà ni pé patience, patience, patience. Two right cannot meet a wrong. Tí èdè àìyedè bá dé láàrin ara wa, again, bí ìtinú ilé níbi iṣẹ́, ẹ ká ṣe sùúrù, ká gbọ́ra wa yé. Kò ṣe pé ó ṣe báyìí fó ó ti gbáyàn létí. Even àwọn ọmọ wa náà, pé tó pọ̀ mọ́ kan ṣàbí kò páàsì, a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fọ́ létí. Assault náà nìyẹn, and it will be aggravated if it's a child. It will be more aggravated if it goes to court. You know, pé ọwọ́ àna ọmọdé ò fìyà jẹ, ìkan tí ìjọba ò tiẹ̀ fẹ́ gbọ́ rárá nìyẹn. So things will happen in a family setting, in a society, in our community. Let's have the patience, the perseverance. Láti mọ bá ṣe máa tó nǹkan yẹn nínú ọkọ ní solution. Causes gbà míì, kí ló ń fa nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ assault? Ìbínú lè fà á, mo ṣe sọ, àbí kọ́kọ́ ní kí ọkọ má ṣẹ̀tọ́, àbí kí ìyàwó lówó jọ kó tẹ́ pé there's many causes. One of the main causes in diaspora, which we are, financial stress. Financial stress causes a lot of tension resulting to assault. It cannot be justified. The effect is a trauma on the family, because once the husband or the wife is charged to court for, the effect if that home is broken in a way, and it will take a long time to láti tún ṣe. Tó bá di pé ọkọ náà yàwó ó dọ̀rọ̀ ẹjọ́ àti patch marriage yẹn up takes a long time. Prevention ta dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe náà ni pé a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ wa, a máa forgive ara wa, a dẹ̀ máa ní sùúrù. For me, I'm going to use this as an appeal to reach out to people. Pé kò bójú mu, kò dẹ̀ dẹ̀ ṣe dédé ara wa, ká má lè ní sùúrù fún ara wa. Tí kò bá dé, it might be stress. Stress could be financial. You say, ó lè kọ́ kò níṣẹ́ àbíyàwó oníṣẹ́ pé they're struggling. A gbọ́dọ̀ bára wa jà lórí ẹ̀ tó bá di ọ̀rọ̀ physical attack. Because when there's a crack in the family's home, the effect is on the entire family and the community, because ó di pé àwọn ọmọ kan tó ń go on, wọ́n ṣe dáadáa léèwé, ìyàwó happy, ọkọ happy. You know, where do you begin? You cannot quantify the effect of the family.
Alhamdulillah.
So I want to appeal for me, it is a crime, whether it's physical, emotional. Please, let's be patient, let's persevere, let's talk to each other. And it is also very important to understand the trauma of an assault within the family setting, especially. We need to understand that very well. It is trauma sometimes for a woman or a man, and it can happen on both sides. But ìbáragbé ní pé ká ṣe sùúrù ká dẹ̀ lẹ́mìí ìdáríjì. Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Torí àsìkò wa a máa fún àwọn guest wa inshallah bẹ́ẹ̀ bí 2 minutes láti lè máa fi nail the point yẹn on the head inshallah. Alọ́kọ̀tọ̀ ìyá wa Akínsọ́lá inshallah. Kí lẹ lè bá rò pé kí lẹ lè view yín nípa simple assault ló ń kọ̀ sí ẹ̀ ní consequence àti ní possible prevention. Nta kí la ń pè ní simple assault gangan pàápàá.
Okay, thank you so much. Without much ado, I'm just going to say that we have somehow technically discussed or mentioned what is simple assault. I'm just going to add so simple, you know, as the name implies. So we call it simple in this part of the world, especially in Canada. So, and I think in England, mommy walong, you would want to pay common assault. I want to US, I want to pay misdemeanor. So what makes it simple is still an assault, but what makes it simple is because we are in my notes, like mommy even if you have a scratch mark or a bruise, it's an assault. Oti assault anyway. So what depends the severity of the harm or loss any victim here to encounter. That will make it a simple assault or a major assault. So only might involve weapon like other assault, and then we have just minute loss or minute harm from that one. But no matter, irrespective of how simple it is, only major consequence is an assault, and it is you are liable under the legal act. And Oma one in record any oti wa liable oti wa convicted somehow. So we'll be on that person's file. So tani eba launch a background check. O mama home nínú ẹ̀. Àfi tani eba ṣe bóyá ó ti ó lọ ṣe mi mọ̀ bí mo ṣe lè sọ ní Yorùbá like expungement pé bóyá kan fojú wo kan dáríjì ẹni yẹn, you know, bóyá after some years kan fojú fo àṣìṣe yẹn so wọ́n lè yọ kúrò nínú record ẹni yẹn after some years. So it depend on the individual countries or individual nation or individual states. Àwọn ìlú wọn lè sọ pé after 5 years, after 10 years or so, that will be off your record. Then ó tún wá depend lórí bí tẹ́ni ẹ bá ti lọ ṣe background check yẹn. So bóyá irú ọ̀dọ̀ wa nísìnyí a máa ń lo city, a máa ń lo province. So tó bá jẹ́ pé bóyá city ni, you know, tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé bóyá crime to commit yẹn bóyá like a provincial crime ni. So ìmìnà ó lè máa hàn nígbà tó bá lọ ṣe background check tó jẹ́ pé just the city background check ló ṣe. Ó lè máa hàn. But irrespective of that, assault is assault. So it will tarnish your image. It will have some, you know, emotional consequences on whoever tó bá ṣe. Kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ sọ pé wọ́n ní ò kí máa ń lọ dé láti ilé ẹjọ́ ká tó wá ṣe ọ̀rẹ́. So no matter how little the problem yẹn ṣe jẹ́, you've been convicted, you'll be convicted. And even if you are looking for a job, wọ́n máa béèrè pé, have you been convicted? Yes, you must answer yes to that question. And you should know what that means on your resume or on your paperwork when you answer yes. Wọ́n máa fẹ́ fi ojú méjì wọ́n fẹ́ wo paper yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kejì. It will be like a red flag, it will be like an eye opener. They want to probe further, they want to know what you did, they want to, you know, eventually they may not even give you the job. irrespective of it's a simple assault or not a simple assault, you've committed crime, So be mommy mi ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn pé, you know, even nínú ilé wa, whatever we cannot do outside, we shouldn't bring it home. Ẹlòmíì lè máa sọ̀rọ̀, but internally that person is suffering. You know, emotionally that person is suffering. Psychologically that person is suffering. Then your band humiliating you, you are shutting somebody down, or you are being at the edge of everything. You dominating everything. You seeing yourself as all in all. And it's a John share only master lot, but emotionally you are bastardizing that person. Emotionally you are giving that person problem. So simple assault. See major assault. Assault is assault. So the best thing is to try and, you know, find a way of doing away with it. Kamarin si ibibe rara ko kin ṣe nǹkan tó dáa nínú record yẹn, and we can prevent it with communication, you know, with dialogue, you know, opening up. Then ká má dẹ̀ máa rìn síbi àwọn ibi táwọn problems yẹn lè ti ṣẹlẹ̀, ilé ijó, you know, theatre house, you know, gbogbo àwọn bí oríṣiríṣi tí gbogbo irú àwọn nǹkan èdè àìyedè àbí tèrò bá ti ń pọ̀ jù tó lè fa gbogbo àwọn nǹkan, we can stay away from such things. Wọ́n sọ pé orúkọ rere ó sàn ju wúrà àti fàdákà lọ. K'Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú gbogbo wa, kó jẹ́ ká mọ̀ mọ́ ṣe.
Alhamdulillah, kí tó padà sọ́dọ̀ ajá wa activist, inshallah, àwọn ló máa ní the next question. But tó dà pé ìyá wa ti mẹ́nu bà ilé ilẹ̀ kan ní fẹ́ padà sọ́dọ̀ yín. Ìyá wa Bliki Savage, ẹ mẹ́nu bà aggravated assault lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Aráyè láti bá wa nọ́mbẹ̀. Bá nọ́mbẹ̀ náà nísìnyí, kí ni ó ń jẹ́ aggravated assault? Kí ni hospital, kí dẹ̀ ni báwo ṣe lè prevent ẹ̀? Láàárín ìṣẹ́jú bí méjì, ó lè má tó yẹn gan.
Aggravated assault is inflicting physical harm. Once you have that contact with somebody, even threat or the attempt itself, you know, such an action is aggravated, and it's even more aggravated in some setting, like I said, if you have an older man beating on a young child, a carer abusing the patient, you know, or sometimes racially aggravated. If you're being racially abused, you know, with like to do, for instance, one of the common aggravated situation time deal with like nobody reports compare to that's aggravated racial assault, you know, assault. And yeah, more you know, it's something that you don't deal with the magistrate court. London one be it goes to the higher court, which is the Crown Court, you know. Now, Kilonfa in Bami, it saddens me to say, cases I've seen in London, sometimes I come out that's sometimes when the situation like that, I've seen cases in court where the person is being charged for aggravated mental health patients. Sometimes mental health can cause that kind of situation. Or vice versa. It's aggravated. That severity of it causes more, you know, aggression. Effect is the trauma. You know, the emotional trauma is very lasting, and it's something that is broken a lot of families. One of the way I know for children born abroad, when they endure physical abuse, they don't often forgive or forget it, and it's broken a lot of homes. Vice versa, school. they tend to be, especially children, they tend to remember it, and they hold on to it a lot because they cannot understand why somebody wants to harm them. And that's why it's aggravated, because children, they're very sensitive, they're immature, and they don't sometimes understand context. So when we're talking about aggression, again, prevention, like my sisters, communication, patient, because it is very important. Koto dipo obinu no ya bi ko threaten you. Can you all rule? Why do you want to do that? The consequences of it is enormous. The consequences, so if you have a criminal record, especially in the situation of COVID now, where there's so many people unemployed, no matter how expert you are, no matter how good you are, criminal records puts you in a bad light. People will not give you a second chance. And I always counsel the young one. And this is another reason why I am really grateful we're doing this project. We parents, we carers, guardian, we need to be that role model so that our children will learn not to lose their temper among their peermates. So they will resort to either threatening, fighting, and then have a criminal record. A lot of black people, let me know, I mean, black people have been labeled, black boys especially have been labeled for losing their temper. And it's given them a lot of bad record. And you have very talented children. They've got bad record. Why? Because they've lost their temper. And again, in their setting, it's aggravated because if you see a young black man, for whatever reason, beating up a police because it's been stopped, they tend to have a longer sentence. So prevention of it is, what we need to do is be role model. Let's talk to our children. Let's explain things to them. Let's guide them. Let's support them. Let's give them the education. I always say to parents when I do presentation, not every children will be a doctor or a lawyer. Find out what they're good at. Channel the energy into it. Ọmọ tó níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ kò ní rìnrìnkùnrin. Ọmọ tó níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ kò ní rìnrìnkùnrin. Ẹlòmíì, ọmọ ẹ̀ torí pé ó fẹ́ gbá football, they can, I've seen it. And I always say to people, we're so blessed in this country. There's apprenticeship that the government is funding. Electrician earns more money than some office job. Plumbing earns more money than some office job. But we have that cultural thing. They're engineers. So because some people have anger in them because they've been prevented to do what they want to do. Their parents have said they don't want it. They say have anger. And they come about also. I'm just simplifying it just to, because anger management sometimes can lead to aggravated assault. Anger, so many issues, criminal record. So prevention, we need to work on that. Let's understand our children. Let's support them. That is so important in our society. So aggravation, especially to physical, threaten you. You see, we say that words without thinking about, I'm going to kill you. People say it jokingly, but it's very powerful. When you say it, especially outside, people take it seriously. You're going to kill me? The fact that you said you've threatened that person, people will take it seriously. You might have said it in the light of your anger, but it's a powerful. So it's aggravation. The fact that you're threatening to kill somebody, that's aggravation. So a lot of things causes it. Sometimes it's mental health. Sometimes it's circumstances, it's environment. Sometimes anger issue. How do you prevent it? Communication, talking, education, be supportive, guiding and directing. And, may Allah guide us best. Our religion is the best. We need to let our children understand. We need to let our children understand our religion is a religion of peace. And people must learn to, alhamdulillah, I'm not perfect, but I always let my children have that guidance of Allah. Wait, I came here, every time, one day she goes again. Because I came here when I was young. With the glory of Almighty Allah, it's the parent upgrading that's guided me all the way. And I always say to my kids that you need to be thankful to Almighty Allah what you have. People back at home in the village do not have the opportunity. So when you are born abroad, you know, it's not the best, but it's better than some people. So we need to let our children understand that. So our religion is a guiding principle. Education is a guiding principle. Our discipline, role model is a guiding. Those things will prevent children getting into a situation where they have criminal records. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Eléyìí a máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìyá wa Ajia Fadila Adi. Inshallah, láàrin bíi 2 minutes, inshallah. Inshallah. The question is, what is your view, ma, about sexual assault? Its causes, effects, and possible prevention. Inshallah. Láàrin ìṣẹ́jú, ẹ kàn bá summarize láàrin ìṣẹ́jú méjì. Inshallah.
Fún wa níṣẹ́ rere ṣe kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ abẹ́ni ire tò. Àwọn tí mo bá tò lé nínú mi máa dùn. Kọ́lọ́n kó jọ kó jẹ́ ara wọn ìyá wa pẹ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ kàbìtì ló ń jáde. I thank Allah for your life. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. I'm so happy. You see yourself in the Western world and you are allowing Islam to lead, guide you, and take the rule and be the stronghold in your homes. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Emani Alhamdulillah, Shukran Jazil. Alhamdulillah, Hamdallah Rabbi. Alhamdulillah, Ladhi laka wal mulk. Alhamdulillah, Shukran Jazilan. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Allah. It is not so easy and so commonplace. Traveling as a journalist for good 12 years, going for programs representing the government of Nigeria when I was working as Voice of Nigerian Staff, I have seen our people. I have seen our people. And I have seen how they regard or how Islam is being regarded or how Islam is being appreciated or how Islam is being taken in their homes. If you are in that part of the world and you are propagating Islam, Islam is a stronghold in your homes, I say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Why? Because the question posed by the Imam, it's all the bane of this degenerating immoral act. Yeah. Or let me say moral decadence that we are discussing. The bane of it is allowing Islam to be absent in your homes.
Allah Akbar.
Because there's a difference between being a Muslim in your homes and practicing the injunctions, living your life on the emblem of Quran or Hadith. I say Alhamdulillah for you, mothers. May Allah Azza wa Jalla continue to allow Islam to reign in your homes. Amen. And continue to make Islam easy for your children. That is the most important thing. Ọlọ́run kó rọ̀ Islam fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa. Ọlọ́run kó wá rọ̀ wọ́n fún Islam. Ààrẹ ni ṣe àmín.
Àmín ya Allah.
Ẹ wá rí.
Àmín ya Allah.
Nígbà tí à ń wo sexual assault, ọmọ tí a fi Islam kọ́, ọmọ tí a fi sójú tó jẹ́ pé bó ṣe ń kàwé ló ń kéwú, ni a dẹ̀ ń fi ẹ̀kọ́ kọ́ nínú ilé. tí ò dẹ̀ bá lọ́wọ́ àwọn òbí. Mo kàn rán commentary lórí intention because ẹ méjèèjì ti sọ̀rọ̀. Allah kọ́lọ́n kó ṣe dáadáa fún wa. Kọ́lọ́n kó bá mi sọ yín lẹ́san lóore. Ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ní sọ̀rọ̀ tán. Èmi á kó máa rán commentary lórí intention ni. Èmi mo wá bá yín jẹ́ nọ́ọ̀sì ni màá bá yín máa rán commentary. Pé inú mi ń dùn tí ẹ ń sọ ẹ wà nílùú òkèèrè ẹ sì ń gbé Ìsìláàmù lárugẹ. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ kọ́lá yín rinlẹ̀ láéláé. Sexual assault tí à ń sọ yẹn ó ní àpá bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ibi ìṣáná. Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ibi ìṣáná. Báwo ni upbringing ọmọ yẹn, the male child especially this time around, the male upbringing ẹ̀ tí ó ń wo ìpasẹ̀ ohun tí bàbá ẹ̀ ń ṣe. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell your mother. Yẹn ó ti fi sọ́wọ́ òsì o. Somebody used to come home, mommy, when you are not around. That person is not my auntie, is not my sister. I don't know her. One woman felt like this. Òfófó ló ń ṣe yẹn o. Ó fi sọ́wọ́ òsì. Legacy that will not be forgotten so easily. Níbo ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀? Níbo ni sexual, you call it sexual assault, you call it sexual harassment, or you call it sexual abuse. Ìkọ̀kan náà ló mú gbogbo wọn. When you talk about sexual harassment, ó gbé àníyàn láti ṣe jàǹbá fún ọmọ yẹn. Bóyá obìnrin ló fẹ́ ṣe, ó wọ́pọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ ọkùnrin, so a máa mú tọkùnrin púpọ̀. Orí ọmọ yẹn ó dọ̀wọ́ onírọ̀lẹ́, ó wá mú ó di wì inú igbó, ó gbé ṣubú, ó sán lẹ́nu là, ó sẹ́nu là. Ibi tí o ti fẹ́ máa, o ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe aṣọ ẹ̀, ó kàn lo defense techniques, ló bá fa John Thomas yẹ ìlú ẹ̀, ni wọ́n náà bá lulẹ̀, lọ́mọ bá sá lọ. Sexual harassment. Oh, Rachel, but it is sexual harassment. It is liable. Àwọn màmá olófin wọ́n wà bí o, à ń bá wọn kọ́ wọ̀rí ni. It is liable. It is an offense. Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀kọ́ ọmọ ọdún mẹ́fà. One of the programs I covered at, what's it called? The Royal House. That Asian city, the source. This lady made some confession while she was at the age of 8-year-old, because the mother divorced the father, and the mother took all of them, all the children, to the grandma. The mother had to go extra mile fending for the family. And the children, in the course of the day, at the mercy of the grandma, who could not curtail the movement of the children. So the children are eventually, or peradventure, at the mercy of the neighbors, the male, who used to give them stipend, petty money, 5 naira, 5 kobo, this and that, and draw this girl in question inside. From the age of 8, she has been abused right from age 8. Eventually, this girl had her first child at the age of 15. Can you imagine that? At the age of 15, she became pregnant. She was rusticated. She was molested. She faced a lot of trauma. Everybody was trying to seclude her. But she said inside her mind, she was looking at the mother. She was looking at the grandma that we hid the food under her bed so that her grandchildren will not come and take from it. And when the mother, who has gone out since morning, comes back, the mother will be talking punchy on the children, will be expressing in using vulgar words on the children. The mother, according to her, that's supposed to come in the night and draw them closer and give them succor and give them love and give them affection. All these were nowhere to be found. So what should she do? She said at this time that she was being rusticated inside our mind. She was looking at them, and there was an intrapersonal communication in her that was saying, if only you people could realize that what has happened to me has been happening to me some 7-8 years ago, then you wouldn't have anything to say than to start shedding tears. That the duties of motherhood was given question mark. The role of mothering, mentoring, role modeling that always come from the mother, according to the Quran, that says that the first teacher for every child is the mother. It was nowhere to be found in this case study. And the consequence was that the girl child, that girl child in particular, had a first baby at the age of 15. Nobody knew that she's been abused. So when you talk about that abuse, it's something that happened over a period of time. Let's now look at all this multifactorial holistically. Some parents will tell their children, even if the child has made bold to say something to the mother, don't tell anyone. Don't let anyone hear about this. Gbogbo òbí tó bá ti ń sọ yẹn, ọjọ́ ọ̀la ọmọ yẹn nìyẹn. Torí stigmatization, torí pé kó má bàa ṣe ṣí ọ yín, torí pé wọ ìyá ò ṣiṣẹ́ bó ṣe yẹ kó ṣe, torí kó má bàa ṣe ṣí ọ ẹ, àbí torí wípé kó má bàa, tó bá ti ń bọ̀ lókèrè, kó má bàa sọ pé ọmọ nì ló ń bọ̀ yẹn. Ẹ wá ní ẹnìkan ò gbọdọ̀ bọ́ pẹ́m. Ayé ti kú láyé ojú dúdú o. Ayé ti kú láyé ojú dúdú. Societal values yàtọ̀ sí infidelity from parents, which used to be commonplace in the days of old. Àìṣedéédé òbí tí a yànnàná ta sọlọ yìí, àìṣedéédé àwọn òbí, àìmójútómọ tó nítorí kátàkárà, nítorí pé a fẹ́ lélé, a fẹ́ lélé, a fẹ́ lélé, a fẹ́ lélé. Àwọn ìyá wa máa ń sọ pé èèyàn máa ń wọlé kó tó wọlé ká ni. Kí ló mú ìgbésẹ̀ yẹn wá nígbà tó mọ̀ pé o ò tí ì rẹ́dì? Tó bá wá jẹ́ pé làlórí irú tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sọ́mọ tí a sọ yìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọ, o ò ṣe kúkú wá farabalẹ̀ kó mójú táwọn ọmọ yìí, kírú ẹ̀ má bàa ṣẹlẹ̀, torí tó bá ti mú ẹ tó ti fi lè bímọ, responsibility tún dé. O wá wò wípé ìyà kan làlórí kan ló dé sí mi tí mo ṣe bára mi ní position yìí, tí mò ń bímọ at a very tender age. Tender age nínú Islam ó póríṣiríṣi. Islam advocate wípé kí ọmọ tètè gbé ìgbésẹ̀ nípa mímá lọ sílé ọkọ. Kò ń ṣe wípé context wípé ọmọ tí ò tí ì dáńtọ́, ọmọ tí kò tí ì mature, ọmọ tí kò tí ì ní ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè kooro, ọmọ tí kò tí ì ní economic support. Òun làwọn ìyá wa ṣe máa ń sọ wípé àwọn ọmọ tí ò tí ì dáńtọ́, tí wọn ò tí ì bàlágà tó, kò ń ṣe kọ́kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ní Quran sọ fún wa pé tí wọ́n bá ti ṣe nǹkan oṣù kan, ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì tí fi dájú òun ni kó lọ ṣe nílé ọkọ ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ayé òde òní, ẹ wo bí tí a bára wa. ẹ wo bí tí ayé dé, ẹ wo orú ìyá ta sọ́nsìn kò tí ì lè fọwọ́ sẹ́nu. Báwo ló ṣe, torí pé Islam sọ pé kódà kó má tí ì lè láǹfààní láti lè dára wọn administer financially, ẹ sì tún lè máa support wọn financially. Ṣùgbọ́n ìyá tí kò tí ì lè dá support ara ẹ̀ financially, ṣé òun ni kó lọ fi ọmọ 15 years ilé ọkọ? Ní ayé òde òní tí a bá wo context yẹn sí ohun tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní òde òní, ọmọ gbọ́dọ̀ dáńtọ́ in all ramification kó má bàa jẹ̀yà, nítorí pé ọmọ tí kò bá tí bàlágà láti bí ọgbọ́n, tí kò tí bàlágà láti bí òye téèyàn fi ń lò gbésí ayé, tí ò tí dáńtọ́ láti wípé tí ìpèníjà bá dénú ilé kò tiẹ̀ torí ìyá ẹ̀ báwo ló ṣe lè ṣe é? When the road gets rough, báwo ló ṣe lè ṣe, báwo ló ṣe lè dúró gidigba? Ọmọ tí ò bá tí dáńtọ́, ó ní tí irú ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe abiyamọ, kàkà kó gbọ́n sí yóò máa gọ̀ sí ni. Ohun táwọn ìyá wa sọ growing up, ọlọ́mọ tí ò tí tó gbọ́n, tí ò tí tó lọlé ọkọ, tó bá lọlé ọkọ ní rèwerèwe at that time, wọ́n ní kàkà kó gbọ́n, wọ́n ní yóò máa gọ̀ sí ni. Nígbà tí a ti wo parental infidelity tó ń ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká wo ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú sexual abuse or sexual harassment, parental infidelity ni. A ti sọ títí economic lẹ́ẹ̀kan, a sọ ti breakage in marriage tó ń lead sí kí ìyá máa sá lambalamba kiri. Yàtọ̀ sí breakage in marriage, yàtọ̀ sí economic challenges, the so-called kí lè máa ń pè health, kẹ́ máa gba àwọn ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀, àwọn help, ẹ gba opposite sex kó máa tọ́ ọmọ yín. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti kú ilé látago mẹ́rin ilé ò mọ́ bá yín nú ilé. Tẹ́ bá máa délé òru dúdú lẹ máa délé. Kí lẹ mọ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn ọmọ yẹn? Ẹ gba ọkùnrin kó máa tọ́jú ọmọbìnrin yín. Ẹ ti gbàgbé pé oríṣiríṣi former deputy speaker Lagos State, Mrs. Teju Osho, she narrated some ordeals. Ọmọ ọdún mẹ́ta, Mrs. Orelope Adefulere, she also narrated another one, oṣù mẹ́jọ àbóṣù mẹ́ta, tí house help camera gbé ó wá ń fídùn kíní ìmájóbìnrin ẹ̀. Yàtọ̀ sí economic challenges, yàtọ̀ sí the breakage and some other things, àwọn help tí à ń gbà, they are also part of the cause of this thing. Torí pé help tẹ́ gbà tó bá jàjà subdue ara ẹ̀ fún yín tó wá pẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ yín, ọmọ yẹn ó ń ṣe kíní ẹ̀ fọ́mọ yẹn láti oṣù tọ́mọ yẹn wà lóṣù ló ti ń fídù ọmọbìnrin tó ń tọ́jú. Tọ́mọ yẹn bá fi lè máa lọ di ọmọ ọdún mẹ́ta, ẹwà ọmọ kọ̀ǹpútà ń sìn, tọ́mọ yẹn bá lè fi lè ọmọ ọdún mẹ́ta, á máa rí i pé uncle is doing something for me, he's putting one ṣùkúṣùkú. Tó bá yẹ ọmọ tó lè sọ̀rọ̀, á máa sọ fún màmá ẹ̀ pé he's putting one ṣùkúṣùkú in my bum. Ọmọ tí wọ́n ti ń ṣerú yẹn fún, tó bá fi máa di ọmọ ọdún 5, ọmọ ọdún 6, á ti máa mọ what is really going on. Àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ẹ̀ múra lójú wọn tó yẹ tẹ́ bá ti múra, wọ́n á máa mú bra, wọ́n á káṣọ sí, wọ́n á wọ̀. Ṣé yẹn ni òní mọ tí wọ́n ń pè ní ohun tí ẹni yẹn ń ṣe fún tí ò dáa? Yàtọ̀ sí yẹn, ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin yẹn, ìta tún wò ní wípé ìyí tí Quran ti sọ fún wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan, it is the way you dress, the way you will be addressed. Quran tí a fi tú another aya yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sọ fún wa pé so that they will know you for that. Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe ń múra láwùjọ? Báwo ló ṣe ń múra níbi tó wà? Tó máa wá rìn lálẹ́ tẹ́nìkan ò ní fà ẹ́ láwù. Àbí wọ́n tó bo ara ẹ̀ tó dírẹ́sì dáadáa. Kẹ́ni náà tiẹ̀ tó wá bá ẹ lásán, á kọ́kọ́ think twice pé this sir. Ìgbà míì tá a bá wà ní bus stop yẹn, àwọn tó máa ń pè ní ọ̀rẹ́, it's kind of respect torí béèyàn ṣe múra. Those are some other causes. Sexual abuse tí ẹ̀dẹ̀ wá ń sọ yìí, à ń sọ títí ta nìyẹn o. Ṣé mo kí láàrin ọkọ láyà, ṣé mo kí sexual abuse wà? Sexual abuse wà. nígbà tí ń kọ́ nítorí pé ọ̀nà jẹ́ mú ìyàwó ti já lambalamba lọ bóyá ọkọ ní small deficiency ìyàwó ń try láti make up pé okay kí lè dúró kí gbogbo nǹkan lè lọ lẹ́sẹẹsẹ ìwọ wá ń sọ pé pẹ́pẹ́ sí o everyday lẹ́jọ́ máa ṣe kíní tá à ń wí ó wá sọ pé tọ̀ èní o ẹ ní dààmú bá lè wa o ẹsẹ̀ yìí ó ń ro mí ara mi ìgbádùn wọ́n wá ní pẹ́pẹ́ sí o kùránì sọ pé àrìjálù kọ́múnálà ní sáì kan o ní kùrán 4 kan o rìjálù ni wọ́ o ìwọ gbọ́dọ̀ rìjálù ẹ̀ ní o rìjálù kí rìjálù nìyẹn bàbá rìjálù kí rìjálù nìyẹn.
ẹ má bínú lórí yẹn o nítorí pé ẹ̀yin obìnrin lè wà lórí platform èmi náà ń dúró fún obìnrin tó jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ nǹkan tí ó ráyè tọkùnrin náà nǹkan ṣé kò ń ṣe abuse lọ́dọ̀ ọkùnrin náà.
abuse ni ẹ ní dààmú abuse ni torí yẹ kì í fapá kan fún ọ̀nà méjì ni abuse náà ni kóbìnrin wá sọ pé owó yìí náà ni àníṣe lẹ́yìn owó yìí náà ni. àbálágbájá ọsàn ẹ má fọwọ́ kàn mí jáde mo ti lọ látàárọ̀ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nítorí pé ẹ ti wọ́wọ́ torí pé àwọn dádì ní deficiency ẹ wá ní kó má fọwọ́ kàn yín ẹ ti gbàgbé pé ànábì wa Muhammad òun ló sọ pé ìbáṣepẹ́ nìkan wà láti jọ́sìn fún ẹnìkan lẹ́yìn Allah ọkọ ló máa jẹ́ ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin ẹ má jẹ́ kó rí yín wú too much ẹ má jẹ́ owó too much wípé wọ́n sọ pé ó pè tẹ́lẹ̀ if there is anything pé kakú máa jọ́sìn fún yín ẹni wà sọ lẹ́nìí mo fẹ́ lo veto power mi lé ẹ lórí ẹsẹ̀ máa ka òkè ni ohun ẹ̀ kò wẹ̀ mo gbọ́dọ̀ ka òkè tọ́rọ Ọlọ́run sọ pé èmi náà la daran jẹ̀ kí n máa wọ̀ ọ́ lọ irọ́ ni o ẹ lè wọ̀ ọ́ lọ níjọ́ tí ó bá with a genuine reason wípé kọ́ o ara mi ṣe díẹ̀ lénìí ẹ jẹ́ ká gbà fún wọn tẹ́ bá wá fi tipátipá ṣe abuse ni o against her wish àti sọ títà abuse ni against her wish àwọn ìyá wa kọ́ ló ń bá wa ṣe dáadáa fún wọn wọ́n wà nílùú England wọ́n dẹ̀ ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ ọmọnìyàn wọ́n dẹ̀ ń tún àdúgbò ṣe. It is a way for us across the Muslim setup across the world to have a kind of jurisdiction in Islam or a kind of setup under the guidance of the Imam tí wọ́n máa ṣe similitude táwọn ìyá wa ń ṣe yìí nítorí pé kí ni tá bá sọ́dọ̀ la àwọn ìyá wa stigmatization yẹn ò ní jẹ́ kó fẹ́ kọ́ mọ wọn sọ̀rọ̀ síta bẹ́ẹ̀ ni stigmatization yẹn ò ní fẹ́ kọ́ ní kó sọ̀rọ̀ síta kí wá lè máa ṣe in that regard ẹ jẹ́ káwọn ìmáàmù àdúgbò wa kó rí wípé tọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí pé ká máa kírun yàtọ̀ sí pé ká máa ṣàdúrà ká máa ṣe tẹ́síkíyà a tún ti dá guidance and counseling náà lẹ̀ o fáwa tí a bá fẹ́ lọ sí legal àwọn ìyá wa kí ó ṣe lásán lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pé àìtí kóòtù bọ̀ káṣọ rẹ o nígbà tó bá ń bọ̀ wọ́n gbàbí kémi gbàbí náà àlejò ṣe nígbà tá a ti lọ kóòtù yẹn perception àwọn èèyàn wa nìyẹn kú mọ́ perception àwọn èèyàn wa nìyẹn o tó bá wá ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí àwọn ìmáàmù láàyè wa ní oríkìíríkì ìgbèríko àdúgbò ni ní state ni àbí ní province àbí city ni àbí gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti yànnà lọ́lẹ̀ kan ẹ jẹ́ káwọn ìmáàmù gbétò kalẹ̀ o fáwọn tí ò lè kò bìrìbìrì lọ sí kò torí oríṣiríṣi ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹni tó kàn ló mọ̀ nǹkan ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kó gbétò kalẹ̀ kí ìmáàmù yẹn dẹ̀ wà available number one kí ìmáàmù yẹn kó equip ara ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú tó bá rí báyìí kí la máa ṣe sí tó bá rí báyìí kí la máa sọ tó bá rí báyìí báwo la ṣe fẹ́ defend obìnrin àní wọ́n tún máa wá sọ wípé kó lọ mú kinní kan wá kó lọ fi show kó lọ mú kinní kan wá káwọn àwọn police ìlú wa nìyẹn ohun tó máa ń piss a lot of people off nìyẹn àwọn journalists against hate a lot of problems ni wọ́n ní pẹ̀lú àwọn police ọmọ tí wọ́n ṣe nǹkan fún against our wish ẹni kó lọ mú kinní kan wá ẹni kó lọ mélè wá ẹni kó lọ mú ṣé ó mọ̀ kán fẹ́ ṣe é fún un tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ni ẹ wá ní kó máa lọ mú àwọn nǹkan tí ò ṣe é gbọ́ sí tiwa kẹ́yìn fi lè rí pé tọ̀ nǹkan o sexual abuse ti take place ẹ jẹ́ káwọn ìmáàmù wa gbé kalẹ̀ tí a máa fi protect the victim, tí a máa fi lè perpetrate evil yẹn, àwọn tó perpetrate evil yẹn tí a fi lè máa reprimand wọn. Then tí a máa ṣe counseling fún àwọn òbí wípé ẹ ní láti fọwọ́ bò, torí pé tẹ bá ti fọwọ́ bò ayérayé ọmọ yẹn a máa wà wájú gbá yẹ̀bà, tó bá rí ẹnìkan tó sọ pé wọ́n abuse á dìde sókè, á fẹ́ lè lọ fi gbogbo ayé ẹ̀jà lásìkò ìgbà tó bá dòmìnira. Ọmọ yẹn ò ní gbàgbé for too long. Ẹgbọ́ ọgbẹ́ ọkàn ayérayé ni. Ẹ jẹ́ káwọn imam kọ́kọ́ wá ìmọ̀ tó lábọlẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mì fàdí dọ́tún alákùlé muslim. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́kọ́ wá ìmọ̀ tó bá ti equip ẹran pẹ̀lú ìmọ̀ kó wá àti gbé tòyí kalẹ̀. Tó bá wá ti wá ṣẹlẹ̀ bá ṣe máa protect ọmọ, bá ṣe máa bá òun ṣe kinní yẹn wí, bá ṣe máa cancel àwọn òbí, bá ṣe máa fún wọn, bá ṣe máa ṣe dùá, bá ṣe máa fi àdúrà jagun, tá máa fi àdúrà ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́, bá ṣe máa protect victim yẹn. Then àwọn ìmáàmù wa ẹni tá bá ti pè ní ìmáàmù tí irú eléyìí bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀, ìmáàmù ẹni tó bá ti jẹ́ ìmáàmù láwùjọ kò gbọdọ̀ jẹ́ni tí yóò máa sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀, because confidentiality of that matter, this is a very sensitive. Àwọn èèyàn bá ṣe ń yọ sólà ń yọ gbọ́, táwọn èèyàn bá ti wá bá yín wípé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sọ́mọ mi rè mo dé lọ bá ìmáàmù, ǹjẹ́ jẹ́ mọ̀ wípé ìyàwó ìmáàmù ńṣe ló fi sọ̀rọ̀ sí, ńṣe ló lọ sọ fún ìyálé kẹta wípé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ìyá Shukra mare, ọmọ ìyá Shukra. Ó ti mọ̀ pé confidentiality ìmáàmù ti lùgbàdì àmọ́nà yẹn nìyẹn. Torí ìmáàmù gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ni tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ lè tọ́jú àmọ́nà yẹn sí lọ́wọ́. Tí ìyá yẹn bá ti fi lè gbọ́ níbo mi pé ọmọ òun kọ́ ó ṣe nǹkan báyìí ló ṣe o, tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wá ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́, wọn ò ní lè gbèrú ẹjọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ wá bá ìmáàmù mọ́. So gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ yẹn ni káwọn ìmáàmù ti equip, they kọ́ dé mọ̀ pé this thing is confidential. Confidentiality yẹn ó dé gbọ́dọ̀ wà utmost, kò gbọ́dọ̀ jáde síta. Òun ló máa jẹ́ wípé àwọn tí nǹkan yẹn ti ṣe wọ́n pọ̀, wọ́n fẹ́ wo bó ṣe máa kọ́kọ́ ṣe fún lágbájá yẹn ni. Kó tó wá bẹ́ẹ̀ pé imam nǹkan ń ṣe wá lábẹ́ aṣọ wa. Kó tó wá bá imam wípé nǹkan báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa o, báwo la ṣe máa tọ̀, báwo la ṣe máa rìn. Tó bá jẹ́ èyí tó ṣe gbòógì, kò sí bí wọ́n ṣe ní involve the legal action, kò sí bí wọ́n ṣe ní involve power of attorney. Wọ́n máa lo legal action lé wọn lórí. Tó bá jẹ́ especially tó bá lọ involve bí àwọn yàrá tó bá lọ involve àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké age 1 to 16 or something is an aggravated one. It can span through 6 months, 18 months. Kuma tó bá ti lọ jẹ́ ọmọ kékeré, ó lè jẹ́ 5 years, ìmí ó lè jẹ́ life imprisonment. Tá bá ti lọ lo irú ibi tí àwọn ìyá wa tí wọ́n fi tẹ̀dó sí nílùú Canada, wọn ò fojú yẹpẹrẹ wò rárá. Wọ́n bójú tó wà very grievous wò ni. America ṣì máa bá wa wò pókè, báwo ló ṣe lọ, báwo ló ṣe jẹ́, báwo ló ṣe mu, eléyìí fall under discipline náà, báwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa ṣe sọ, eléyìí ó fall under ilé, eléyìí ó fall under ilé. Àwọn tí bí wọn tiẹ̀ fojú kékeré wò rárá. So gbogbo èyí tó bá jẹ́ pé ká wá fi hàn sí gbangba, ká fi hàn sí gbangba tọ́dọ̀ àwọn olófin dẹ̀ ni, kò ń ṣe pé gbangba àdúgbò pé ẹ wá wo tí lágbájá ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn olófin, ká hand over ẹni yẹn fáwọn olófin, ká wá protect ọmọ yẹn. A rí wípé justice ti wá fún un, ọkùnrin á tún balẹ̀ díẹ̀, kò ní jẹ́ ọgbẹ́ ọkàn fún un. Kọ́lọ́n kó má ṣàlàyé túbọ̀ kọ́ wa mọ̀ ṣe.
Alhamdulillah, ìṣẹ́jú méjì ni a ní ìyàwó fẹ́ lò. Wọ́n bá wa nà ń bẹ̀ dáadáa. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n sọ fún wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan, sexual assault ní America ń bí wọ́n pè sí méjì, wọ́n lè report, wọ́n lè máa ẹni bá fẹ́ report tó jẹ́ pé ó fẹ́ kí legal system wà, gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ló ní pé ká sọ síta láti jẹ́ kí àwọn medical practitioner kí wọ́n bá wò ó, kí wọ́n tọ́jú ẹni tí ó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí, kí wọ́n dẹ̀ cancel irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ìyá wa ṣe sọ. Kí Ọlọ́run jọ̀ọ́ kọ́lọ́run má jẹ́ àárín gbérígbérí ẹ̀wọ̀n eléyìí tí a máa ń ṣe ní ibi tí wọ́n ti bí wa. Àgbọ̀nfọ́ kọ́yàn lọ́rùn báyìí àbí àkàn touch èèyàn necessarily kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ bí wọ́n á ní òun invade privacy àwọn ni. Ló jẹ́ pé ibi tí a ti wá ìlú olófin níbi ibi tá a ti wá gbogbo àyè lúgbà kò sí nǹkan tí a lè ṣe. Tá bá tún dọ́dọ̀ àwọn ọlọ́pàá gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ìyá wa ṣe sọ náà, orí nǹkan tí ò sí ńbẹ̀ ni wọ́n máa béèrè. Bribery and corruption ó ti gbinlẹ̀ níbi tí àti wá. Kọ́lọ́run bá ṣe dáadáa fún àwọn ìyá wa nítorí àsìkò, nítorí t'Ọlọ́run àti Ànábì wa Muhammad, bí ìṣẹ́jú méjì àbí ìṣẹ́jú 1.5 minutes ní màá fún yín nísìnyí. A lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìyá wa Akéwùsọlá, wọ́n ń pè kankan ní pedophile. Kí ni à ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀? Kí ló tiẹ̀ ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀? Òyìnbó ní pedophile, ẹ bá sọ Yorùbá kó lè jẹ́ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa. Kí ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀? Inshallah, bismillah.
Subhanallah. I'm gonna say it in English, and then I'll try to do justice to it in Yoruba. So, in a nutshell, and as a lay person, it is when somebody has a sexual orientation towards children, generally aged 13 or below. That is, that person has sexual arousal, sexual fantasies, sexual orientation towards pre-pubertal children solely. It's different from child molester or child sexual abuser. It's different. It's a little bit different. So this person, any pedophile, we want láti be pediatrician, láti be ọmọ kékeré, love of a child. We ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ó máa ń hùn pé kó ọmọ kékeré ló máa ń hùn pé kó bá ní nǹkan papọ̀, àgbàlagbà kì máa ń hùn, àwọn teenagers kì máa ń hùn, but àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké tó jẹ́ pé bí títí dé age 13 ló máa ń hùn láti jẹ́ pé kó bá ní nǹkan papọ̀. Ṣẹ́rí àwọn tó jẹ́ child molesters, àwọn òkè ẹ̀, it may be adolescent, it may be pre-pubescent, it may be adult, it may be anybody. Tó bá fẹ́ molest wọ́n fẹ́ molest ènìyàn nìyẹn. Tó bá fẹ́ humiliate wọ́n fẹ́ humiliate ènìyàn nìyẹn. But this pedophilic action, it's a disorder. It's a mental disorder. Tó bá àwọn èèyàn tó bá ní, they are only attracted to pre-pubertal children. So they don't want to have anything to do with any other person. So àwọn ni wọ́n máa ń pè ní pedophile yẹn. Ó dẹ̀ wà nínú àwọn kíni diagnostic mental diagnostic disorder tí wọ́n máa ń lò tó ní àwọn stages yẹn 3, 4, 5. Ó ti ń wà bẹ́ẹ̀ láti I think from stage 2, 3 tán ṣe máa ń review ẹ̀ ni ó ń wà nínú ẹ̀. So it can be looked into as a mental issue. It's not something where it's a neurological problem. Something is wrong with the brain somewhere. Àwọn wires tó wà nínú brain yẹn ìkan tí kọjá yẹn ó ti dúró síbi tí kò yẹ kó dúró sí. So tó bá ti rí àwọn ọmọ kékeré, wọ́n máa ní sexual fantasies. Àwọn ọmọ kékeré wọ́n máa ní sexual arousal. Wọ́n máa ń fantasize. Wọ́n kàn máa wò pé, wọ́n máa ń they think about it, they fantasize, they do, everything that about sexual activities, it has to be with underage children. So for somebody to be diagnosed as a pedophile, àwọn nǹkan kan láti wà níbẹ̀. So that person must be one láti wẹ̀ nìyẹn for a period of minimum of 6 months, that they know that it's only fantasizing this sexual arousal or this sexual thing with underage children. So that is number one. Then another thing, that person must be about 16 years old, or koju omotumba shenkonyelo with about 5 years gap ko wà láàrin wọn. Wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ọmọ obìnrin máa ń reach age of puberty between age 10 and 11. While boy child will reach age of puberty between age 12 and 13. Wọ́n wá extend diagnostic criteria for pedophilic acts to age 14. So that, so anybody to what you are below that age, from age 14 below, to what you only man fantasize below, and only man try to below, then that person is suffering from pedophilic disorder. More than there are things that it has no cure, but it can be prevented. How can we prevent it? Only do our behavioral techniques. Let's assist anyone, just to kind of divert the attention of that person from towards something else. So while our behavioral therapies, let's assist anyone. Then another thing, that person only intention láti ní sexual relationship pẹ̀lú ọmọ kékeré or kó ṣe actually. So ara àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n máa wò láti fi lè qualify or láti fi lè diagnose ẹni yẹn as being a pedophilia nìyẹn. Ó yàtọ̀ sí child molester àbí pé kéèyàn kàn ṣe child sexual abuse. So it's not all the pedophiles that, that will molest. They can think about it, they can fantasize it, they can look lustfully instead, but one lè control ara wọn tó pé wọn ní any physical contact pẹ̀lú ọmọ yẹn, but ọmọ kékeré yẹn ló máa ń wù wọ́n kan bá ṣe kọ́kọ́ papọ̀.
Alhamdulillah, yawa Blicky Savage, kọ́lọ̀ jẹ́ ká rí yín pẹ́. Ǹjẹ́ pedophilic action yẹn ṣé a lè rí lọ́dọ̀ obìnrin náà?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a ti rí cases ní bíbáyìí tó yẹ pé àwọn obìnrin míì ọmọ kékeré ọkùnrin náà fẹ́ máa bá ṣe. There has been cases in England tí mo wà aware of. So bó ṣe wà jẹ́ pé normally people advocate for the to a man pé àwọn ọkùnrin tó ń bá ọmọ kékeré sùn ni. Àwọn obìnrin náà wà bí àwa ṣe sọ ó yẹ pé bọ́lọ̀ ṣe dá wọn nìyẹn àbá àrùn ni ọmọ kékeré ọkùnrin làwọn náà fẹ́ máa bá sùn. In fact, I think there was a case of a teacher tó yẹ pé ọmọ 15-year-old. So he went to court and she was sentenced about 2 years. So ikọ̀ burúkú ni, it's a serious crime torí pé especially that's why pé tó bá jẹ́ teacher wọ́n wà very particular pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ bá àwọn ọmọ wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ní any affair or fantasy with their people, current relationship, because it's àmọ́nà ni trust ni àmọ́nà láti ẹ̀ pé kí èèyàn máa fantasize pé mo fẹ́ bọ́mọdé sùn. I'm ní understanding of context of sexual relationship or anything. Àmọ́nà ni, and bí àwọn ìyá wa ṣe sọ, yes, therapy, counseling can help. Pẹ̀lú mi, wọ́n lọ ṣe dà nìyẹn.
Alhamdulillah.
Wọ́n mọ́ ṣàìdá, kọ́lọ̀ wá kó ayọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
No. Máa sáré lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìyá wa, ọ̀nà tẹ́mi tún fẹ́ gbà wílé yìí, máa tún padà wá sí orí question, but mo fẹ́ kí bá wílé yìí. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n lè bíyàn naturally kó jẹ́ pé ẹni yẹn ó wà sexually more active lọ́kùnrin àti lóbìnrin tí wọ́n gbé bọ́n ṣe bímọ nìyẹn? Ìyá wa Fọdílà.
Ẹ ṣe ẹ̀ ní dààmú. Ó máa ń wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Without talking for the healthcare provider, the doctors. Ní òye ohun tó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ayé, ó fẹ́ mú hereditary lọ́wọ́. Hereditary in the sense that tí ẹ bá wò, tí bàbá bá jẹ́ oníṣe, tó bá bí àwọn ọmọkùnrin, some of àwọn ọmọ yìí wọ́n máa ṣe ohun tí bàbá yẹn ń ṣe. Tóun náà bá tún bímọ, lára àwọn ọmọkùnrin àbọ́mọbìnrin wọ́n á ṣe ohun tí òun náà tún ń ṣe. generation yẹn máa lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí a bá wo ẹlòmíì mo ti rí ọmọ obìnrin tá a fàdúrà jagunjagun sallallahu alaihi wasallam gbogbo èèyàn abiyamọ ayé Ọlọ́run wà nígbà lójú ẹkún àmọ́ ní lẹ́rẹ̀kẹ́ òṣè
àmín ya Allah.
ní ládùúgbò ọmọ ni a tún máa lọ kanlẹ̀kùn àwọn neighbor látàrí wípé kò lè dá dúró ẹ̀gbọ́ kò lè lójúmọ́ kò lè wà òkè àfi tó bá lọ ṣe kinní ni ó wá jẹ́ tìjú obìnrin kò rí ní ohun tí ò dá ó dẹ̀ ti bàlágà kò dẹ̀ rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ spiritual guidance òun ló ṣe jẹ́ pé ṣẹ́ríkì spiritual guidance tẹ́ fẹ́ lò fọmọ nígbà tó dàgbà ó máa wà very expensive for you not expensive as in money oh my gosh owó tó ti níye àbùkù kan it's not expensive as in terms of money expensive as in terms of gbígbàdúà ju spiritual guardians tí ẹ ti fọ́mọ láti kékeré tẹ́ ẹ wá fàdúà lẹ̀ tẹ́ wá fi ń ṣe tójú tìyé làparò fi ń ríran tẹ́ ẹ fàdúà lẹ̀ torí pé òbí wo ló fẹ́ sọ fọ́lọ́run wípé ìwà tọmọ ẹ̀ ń wù strange sí òun òbí tó tọ́ ọmọ òbí tó ń wo ọmọ tó yẹ pé láti ìgbà tó ti ń tọ́ ló ń wo àwọn ọ̀ṣẹ́ sí ẹ̀ kó tó di pó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rìn gan wàá wo àwọn advances sí ẹ̀ tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rìn lára àwọn ọmọ mi tí mo tọ́ ọmọ ọkọ mi 5 tí mo tọ́ níjọ́sí nígbà tí kan fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nǹkan oṣù èmi ni mo sọ fún un ní you have to be careful mo lọ ra lady lac àbí kí lẹ́ ń pè lady kinní kan onílálọ̀ yellow mo láti mú fún báyìí dé you have to be careful you have to be careful you have to be careful mo ní this sign I'm seeing sign of menstruation obìnrin wo ló fẹ́ sọ wípé òun ò mọ̀ ó fẹ́ sọ fún Ọlọ́run ọba àlékè ọlá wípé òun ò mọ̀ wá tí ọmọ òun wù pé wà yìí strange sí òun àbòsí nìyẹn nítorí ọmọ tí ó wà lákàtẹ tó ń tọ́ tẹjọ́ ń ríra yín tó ń wò ṣe sí ẹ̀ tó ń wo àwọn advances ẹ̀ tó ń wo bó ṣe ń fún ẹ lésì sáwọn tẹ́bájọ engage ara yín ní conversation ọmọ tó bá máa nífẹ̀ẹ́ owó tó bá máa lójú kòkòrò owó wá ibi tóbi bá ti engage ẹ̀ ló ti máa mọ irú perception bó ṣe máa handle nǹkan ní society ọmọ tó bá ti ń fi ọ̀rọ̀ lóhun tó ń ṣe tó bá kàn ná sí tó wo bó ṣe gbé òye wá fún ẹ pé mami ẹ̀ ṣe jẹ́ àṣẹ báyìí wàá mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run túbọ̀ ṣàlékún làákàyè báwo lòbí ṣe máa ń sọ pé ọmọ òun ò rí bó ṣe ń ṣe especially tó bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní hair in the pubic area and the armpit àwọn ọkùnrin the armpit the chest ẹ máa wo advances wọn ẹ máa wo ṣe sí wọn number 1 ẹ kọ́kọ́ separate yàrá wọn náà pẹ̀lú the opposite sex ẹ wọ́n máa wo ṣe sí wọn ẹ máa wo especially tí antecedent bá ti wà láti ilé ó lè fi tètè máa kọtíìlì attitude yẹn so pàápàá jùlọ ó wà hereditary gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìbéèrè mọ́ yàtọ̀ sí yẹn peer pressure and copying what the contemporaries are doing. Just like ohun tí àwọn ọmọ wa sọ wípé àwọn obìnrin kan tí àwọn sọ wípé ọmọkùnrin ẹlẹ́jẹ̀ tútù làwọn ẹ̀rí ṣayé àwọn on copy ara wọn ni o láàrin kọ́kọ́ sí wọn yẹn wọ́n á wò pé tí wò bá tí lo ẹ̀jẹ̀ tútù o fi change blood àbáwọn náà ṣe máa ń sọ wọ́n náà fi ń renew blood abẹ́ẹ̀rọ lọ́hùn wọ́n fẹ́ máa bọ́ lọ́hùn renew blood wọ́n náà fi ń renew blood ní kọ́kọ́ sí wọn wọ́n máa wá perpetrate evils wọn láwọn ń ṣayọ̀ so àwọn ọmọ mi lè ti kọ látọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ tí ò ní kankan tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú brain wọn bẹ̀ tí wọ́n rò pé àṣà tí àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ òun ṣe nìyẹn kóun náà máa ṣe wọ́n wá máa pẹ̀lú wọn ní òróbìnrin dòrí púpọ̀ jù lọ́wọ́ òbí ọmọ tó gbọ́dọ̀ ti máa lo eagle eye láti máa wo ọmọ yẹn. Òun ni ò ṣe ní dé school kó dèrè àbí kó dé boarding house kó dìdàkudà àbí kó lọ síbi tójú ẹ̀ ò tó. Pàápàá jùlọ àwọn tó ń rọ́mọ ní ilẹ̀ òkèèrè abẹ́rẹ́ Ọlọ́run wọn láwọn lówó wọn láwọn lówó ẹ wá rọ́mọ nílẹ̀ òkèèrè. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ sunkún alẹ́ àní sunkún ọ̀sán àní sunkún àárọ̀. Ẹ rọ́mọ nílẹ̀ òkèèrè ibi tójú yín ò tó. Ibi tójú yín ò tó. Níbi tó jẹ́ wípé it takes the grace of God kọ́mọ fi lọ independently kó má dé pẹ̀lú new strange characters. Àfi k'Ọlọ́run kó ṣe wá láàánú. Ká má tún máa ké lórí owó wa. Àfi kó bá lékè ọlá má jà lójú ẹkún ká má lẹ́rẹ̀ kí ó ṣe lórí àwọn ọmọ. Torí pé kí ni àwa náà la lọ fowó ròyìn yẹn. Báwo ni ò ṣe wá ní kọ́yàn lójú? Torí àwa la sọ pé ọmọ ọ̀rẹ́ mi wà lu òyìnbó, ọmọ tèmi náà gbọ́dọ̀ lọ lu òyìnbó ni. Àwa sọ̀wọ̀n a máa pè lóòrèkóòrè ṣó ti kírun ṣó ti ṣe pẹ̀lú gbogbo yẹn ń kọ́. Ìmí ilé wà lórí ibì kan kó sọ pé mami mọ́ṣáláṣí ni mo wà báyìí. Kó díẹ̀ mọ́ sí ní mọ́ṣáláṣí. Kó mọ́ sí ní mọ́ṣáláṣí kó jẹ́ pórí lọ́mọ òun wà. Àfi k'Ọlọ́run kó ṣe wá láàánú o. Àfi k'Ọlọ́run kó bá wa dẹ́kun gbogbo họ́wùhọ́wù yìí láwùjọ. Ó wà very very. Ẹ fi kún ìyàwó ẹ fi kún. Èmi ń bá yín kọ̀ wọ́rìn mi.
Ọlọ́run àpọ̀ ilé torí pé ibi tẹ mẹ́nu kan yẹn inú mi sóòdù tẹ mẹ́nu kan. Gbogbo ìgbà tí a bá ń ṣe tọlọ́run k'Ọlọ́run máa jẹ́ ká tún lè rá àríkọ́gbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé rí nǹkan tẹ́ sọ yẹn? I always cancel against people thinking it's an easy option to send children abroad or to Nigeria. Because I use myself as an example. And the reason being, because when I say to people, Emma Ropeko send no more abroad. Who is looking after those children? Because I saw the fashion where about competition. I was fortunate I was looked after by a guardian and a very good guardian. They need the Story family, they like my family. But a lot of children are sent abroad to boarding school that have been abused. Virtually the same thing in Nigeria. I want you to about to exclude Nigeria. So, and I always ask them, problem solve to send us in Nigeria. Because Nigeria, I'm not saying it's a bad system completely. Let's be clear about it on both sides. But children are more exposed to sexual abuse when their parents are not around and they're abroad. They're more exposed. There's no doubt about it. Another reason they are more exposed to struggle with me. I'm on a shit to your wall. So the way you know, it happens. I've seen cases like that. I was amazed when I went to Norway. Practically, the new one be 3 years old, and I was seeing things that way. You know, and it does happen. So the point I want to bring out the exposures when you go abroad, parents cannot even imagine. The children will not be able to tell you that they are encountering that. So Ọlọ́run aláàánú ìdílé wo ní bàjẹ́ bá ṣe sọ ẹ̀sìn wà important ká fi lọ́mọ lọ́wọ́ k'Ọlọ́run wá bá jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ wa kọ́ lágbọ́yé ẹ̀sìn kí ṣùgbọ́n wáyé wọn kó má bẹ ẹnikẹ́ni rìn kó má bẹ ẹni tó tí ò ní tọ́ wọn sọ́nà rìn. But we parents we parents we need to be aware. So that's why I'm so happy. We need to be aware. We need to be understanding. A woman has to be prepared to make sacrifice. But if something I can say, when I went to my magistrate interview, that was the first thing they asked me. You're working full time, you've got small children. How are you going to cope? Because family life is so important. And you say, well, I'm this and that. How are you going to cope? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I always say, for the glory of my mother, may her soul rest in peace. I have a mother and I have a supporting husband. Everything I do, I have a supporting husband. But the man said, no, the leadership role. Pure obìnrin tó sọ pé ó fẹ́ ṣe ilé àgbò. Báwo ni ilé ẹ̀ ṣe ilé ẹ̀ tò? Man sọ, because these are the issues people man and kind. Ó fò jáde, ó fò mọ́lẹ̀ ńlé. What's going on in your home? What is going on in your home? So these are part of the issue that we deal with, So call on Kobuwa is very, very important. But so we do bring the topic here out because a lot of our obìnrin ṣe wà lọ́wọ́ wa and iṣẹ́ yẹn Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó fi dálé wa rí pé lóòótọ́ ó wà important but àwọn ọmọ wa they are first priority. Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ìbéèrè náà la máa fi kásẹ̀ ètò wálẹ̀ lẹ́nu insha Allah ní pé pedophilic action or behaviour kí ni Islam ní ká ṣe lórí ẹ̀ gbogbo àná la sọ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan láàrin ìṣẹ́jú kan ìyá wa Alhaja wa DBC Fadila.
Tó mashallah ṣe rí Islam ọpẹ́ ló já sí o. Islam ti lay down rules and regulations. Okay, kíní yìí ó ṣẹlẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ọkùnrin ni wọ́n mú tó ṣe abuse yìí, wọ́n á ní kán mẹ́lẹ́rìí méjì wá. Tó bá jẹ́ pé obìnrin ló ṣe abuse, tí ó bá tiẹ̀ ṣe pedophilic gan àbí ẹ má jẹ́ ó kọ́yìn mi o. Tó jẹ́ ẹmu fún fornication àbí ẹmu fún any other one, wọ́n ní kán mú ẹlẹ́rìí mẹ́rin wá. Wọ́n ní kán mẹ́lẹ́rìí mẹ́rin wá. Tí wọ́n bá ti wá rí wípé ẹni lámọrin yìí fẹ́ ohun tó ṣe rè is either stoned to death àbí kán fún ní lashes ní blala kán fún ní blala gidi but ó fìdíòfẹ́lẹ̀ kò dé fìdíòfẹ́lẹ̀ àwọn òbí a gbọ́dọ̀ wá bí ó ti dẹ́kun torí pé social consequence, cultural consequence, futuristic consequence, all these consequences ó máa ní atom tó máa ṣe lórí victim lórí ọmọ yẹn yàtọ̀ sí rancor especially tó bá lọ jẹ́ wípé uncle tó bá lọ jẹ́ pé láàrin agboolé ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ó tó jẹ́ lọ jẹ́ pé family ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀ torí ẹ̀yin á fẹ́ kí law takes its course. Ìyá tó bí lámọrin ó jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n bàbá ìyá màmá kíní kan fẹ́yìn bọ́n ṣe máa ń sọ ní Yorùbá bàbá tó bí màmá ẹ̀gbọ́n ọmọ kíní kan extended family ìjà abẹ́lé àwa máa wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ mọ àwọn ìjà abẹ́lé yẹn má jẹ́ a máa sọ ọ́ jù ẹ mọ àwọn ìjà abẹ́lé tó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé tọmọ yẹn gan bá bàlágà tó bá dàgbàlagbà a máa ní nǹkan kan tó máa dà á láàmú náà sọ pé nǹkan báyìí ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí before antecedent yẹn ni consequence yẹn ó ti yẹ̀yìn ìyá wa bá ṣe ń sọ yẹn ìyẹn ni ká dẹ́kun o ìyẹn ni ká dẹ́kun kò ń ṣe blala kò ń ṣe stone ìyẹn gangan ni ká dẹ́kun ìyẹn ni ká dẹ́kun ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì tí ká dẹ̀ tún dẹ́kun òun ni wípé àtilẹ̀ ni màlẹ́ ti ń kọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ lásán àtilẹ̀ ní kẹ́ ti jẹ́ ká mọ́ wọn wá grip ọmọ tí ẹ jẹ́ kó let loose láti kékeré tí ẹ bá wí á wá ṣe nǹkan lágbàlagbà ẹ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ fi tipátipá fi Islam kan the next thing ni wọ́n ti kọ́ wọn ní school láti kékeré wọ́n ti máa kọ́ wọn bó ṣe máa pe 911 nílùú tẹwà nílé òkèèrè wọ́n máa kọ́ wọn ní if anything happens to you call you dial this number pin wọ́n ti kọ́ wọn if anything happens to you if you are in danger if somebody smack you call 911 àwọn ọmọ yẹn tí wọ́n ti kọ́ wọn ní school out of course wọ́n kọ́ bó ṣe máa pe 911 ẹ̀rí 911 léyà tó bí wọ nílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire ṣùgbọ́n kírú 911 kí n tó máa kọ́ wọn nílé ìwé yẹn kó má bàa ní effect lórí wọn ẹ̀kọ́ tiwa ló ti lẹ́ni ká jẹ́ kó kọ́kọ́ gba wájú ẹ̀kọ́ ti Islam ní kó kọ́kọ́ gba wájú sẹ́ tí ẹ̀kọ́ ti Islam bá ti gba wájú ẹ wọ́n máa ṣe check and balance nínú ilé ọmọ yẹn á ti mọ̀ pé my daddy will beat me ó dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ dé school kó lọ sọ fún teacher pé my daddy beat me my mommy no beat me they beat me with what they beat you with a belt weapon náà máa pe belt wọn ní sọ pé belt ní àwọn belt ní nílẹ̀ káàró ìjíire wa yẹn ṣùgbọ́n lọ́dọ̀ àwọn ẹ̀yin tòkè òkun belt weapon ni o wọ́n ní the use of weapon the next thing wọ́n lè ní kọ́kọ́ ọmọ yẹn kúrò lákàtà yín kó lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn kìnnìkan kọ́ máa lọ tọ́jú ọmọ tẹ bí nìyẹn o the next thing tẹ́yìn máa ṣe báwọn ìyá ṣe sọ ẹ̀wọ̀n tẹ́kọ̀wì ó di Naija from fry pan to fire Naija tẹ́ ẹ̀ sí ń bẹ̀ ó wà lákàtà yín ẹ̀ tí ì tọ́tán tẹ́kọ̀wì ẹ dá padà sílẹ̀ sọ fún pé if you call 911 you go to Nigeria you become spoiled ó nìyẹn ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀ nìyẹn so kí gbogbo irú eléyìí má bàa lè wáyé àbí punishment kò ṣe punishment èyí tí a fẹ́ fi kún ká tó máa lọ lórí ètò tòní ni wípé a gbọ́dọ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe check and balance pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ yẹn láti ilẹ̀ tó ṣe máa mọ̀ wípé ohun tí òbí wa bá ṣe fún wa inú ilé wa ló máa gbé tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ká pè 911 débi tó máa pè ní assault àbí tó máa pè ní abuse àbí tó kúkú máa kó ọmọ kúrò lákàtà yín pé tọ̀ à ń kọ́ ọmọ lọ fún àwọn tí wọ́n bá yín tọ́ ẹ̀ tó tọ́ torí pé ẹ̀ abuse wọn ni so àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ yìí àwọn gangan ni kí a fi dẹ́kun punishment yẹn wà ńbẹ̀ tá sọ yẹn o but àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ yìí gangan ni ká fi tètè bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ilẹ̀ ni kó ti wà lọ́wọ́ wọn pé you do this I smack you that's your daddy àti show wọn ní love wọ́n lè mọ̀ wípé bá ṣe ń smack wọn là ń show wọn ní love wọ́n lè mọ̀ wípé okay this is my tradition this is my family I'm from Africa.
Alhamdulillah.
Ọlọ́run kó jọ kó má ṣàláì ṣe nírọ̀rùn fún wa Ọlọ́run kó bá wa dẹ́kun gbogbo họ́wùhọ́wù yìí.
Láàrin ìṣẹ́jú tí ò ní tó wákàtí kan ìyá wa Kéṣọlá assault yẹn kí ni ìmọ̀ràn tẹ́ rí ní fáwọn òbí?
Without wasting time, I just want us to know that, for any victim, there are a lot of consequences, lots. So we need to look at the person involved, and we need to do a lot of work on that person, so that person, the action or the situation will not mar the person. There are emotional trauma aftermath, which may lead to depression, which may cause PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. There will be anger. There will be distrust. There will be loss of job. Oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹni yẹn. Some she may be able to tell, some the person may not be able to relate it. But we need to be there for the person. Àwọn òbí bí sister mi ṣe sọ, iṣẹ́ púpọ̀ wà lọ́wọ́ wa tó yẹ ká ṣe. So láti mójútó àwọn tọ́lọ́run kó sí wa lọ́wọ́, ká má lè jẹ̀bi. So tó bá happen, ní fọwọ́ bò ó, you need to take the right steps. Ó lè jẹ́ pé bóyá Islamically báwọn sister mi ṣe sọ, but you need to do something. You cannot just let it go. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa mẹ́ni yẹn lọ hospital because so many things ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́yìn yẹn. So number one, wọ́n lè need láti fún ẹni yẹn ní bóyá àwọn preventative medication kan tó máa prevent bóyá sexually transmitted diseases or contraceptive tó ní jẹ́ kó ẹni yẹn lọ lóyún fún through irú problem tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn. Then wọ́n lè fún ẹni yẹn náà nírú àwọn nǹkan tó ń pè ní calming medication like benzodiazepines so that ẹni á lè relieve anxiety fún ẹni yẹn. That person may need like antidepressant because ó lè lead to depression. Ẹni náà lè suffer from denial kó máa wò pé it's not in its only ones I'm okay, irọ́ ni kò wá okay. Then safety wọn ó ti wà tampered with. So àwọn gọ́gọ́ fún ara wọn lè máa trust ara wọn mọ́ débi tí wọ́n máa trust èèyàn kan. Wọ́n lè rí pé ibi tó safe, ìtàn report safe ni. They may perceive that place as a dangerous place. Kan wá perceive ibi tó wà dangerous yẹn, kan perceive it as a safe place. So you need to kind of go on a journey with that person. Láti jẹ́ kẹ́ni yẹn explain kí ló rí as safety, kí ló rí as unsafe, so that from there you know where to assess the person. Then we shouldn't blame. Tá bá ti ń blame victim yẹn, then I encourage the perpetrator yẹn, because perpetrator yẹn ò ní rí nǹkan tó ń ṣe tí ò dáa, ó dẹ̀ máa tún lọ ṣe níbòmíì. So let's leave blame aside. Let's face the reality. Ẹni tó yẹ ká bá wí, ká bá wí. Tọ́nà tó bá yẹ pé ká gbà. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ní counseling tí sister mi sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn náà ni. Let's do something. Ẹ máa cancel ẹni yẹn náà ni. Go ahead and do it. Kẹ má fi ẹni yẹn sílẹ̀. Because àwọn ẹlòmíì gan, when the shame, the guilt is too much, it may lead to suicidal ideation. We don't want all those to happen. We try as much as possible not to even let it happen at all. But in the worst case scenario, if it happens, then you need to face it. And then, you know, let that person be something. Ká má jẹ́ pé ó kàn ti máa bá ayé ẹni yẹn jẹ́ just like that. So ara àwọn support a lè ṣe nìyẹn. Àdàrà àwọn kan tí mo fi pò yẹ ká tún look into nìyẹn. Ká má kàn sweep it under the carpet bí àwọn kan ṣe sọ.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ìyá wa Biliki Savage Ọlọ́run jẹ́ aríyín pẹ́ ọlá ògo Ọlọ́run. Ìmọ̀ràn wo lẹ ní fún society tí a wà ń bẹ̀, nítorí pé tí nǹkan kan bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ àti ẹni tó ní pedophilic in nature àti ẹni tó ń ṣe assault àtà gbogbo ara wa dànù ni. Kí ni nǹkan tí society láti ṣe láti lè gbà wá padà lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí ẹni ẹ bá ti rí ìwòsàn àbí tó bá ti rí gbàlà, àbí ẹ̀pù la lè ṣe fún ẹni yẹn láàrin ìṣẹ́jú kan? Ẹ ti wà muted o. Ẹ mute ara yín.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. One of the greatest things tá a ní láti kọ́kọ́ accept ni pé tí àṣìṣe bá dé bí àwa ṣe sọ, we need to understand pé shame is not an option. Bí tí kò bá dé tó yẹ pé a ní láti sọ nípa ẹ̀, a máa ń fọwọ́ bu nǹkan jù, ó dẹ̀ máa ń ba nǹkan jẹ́. Especially in a cultural setting. Àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ kí ni kò ti gbọ́ kí ni kan. For that, the Western world are a lot better. Lóòótọ́, àwọn kan wà abomination tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́. Báwo ni a ṣe gbọ́ pé bàbá bọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ sùn àbí ẹbí bá ọmọ family sùn? Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, bí àwa ṣe sọ, nígbà míì ó ti bà nǹkan jẹ́, ẹ wá bù mọ́lẹ̀, ẹ seek help. Ọmọ yẹn ń gbé trauma yẹn káàkiri. So for me, I want to appeal to our people. Tí kò bá dé, àtúnṣe yẹn wà very important. It's one of the things they teach us in management. There's a problem. How do you resolve it? How do you address it? We need to cultivate that. Things will happen in family. Things will happen in society, in our community. We must not cover it up. We must not, because the consequences and the trauma is everlasting. We must seek help. We must support, especially our obìnrin. Ẹnìkan torí pé bóyá ọkọ ẹ̀ filẹ̀ ó wá ní problem, àwa ẹni léètẹ̀ ó máa affect wa gan, àbí ká gbọ́ pé nǹkan ṣe àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ká má support, ká má rárá líran. We need that support. Then pàtàkì, going back to our religion, the affairs our imam, our scholars need to do. Part of the ongoing lecture educating is this. I've always said it. We need our imams to lecture us more. I always say within the women's wing is not about daily show. It's about educating ourselves, empowering ourselves, talking to ourselves. Because when we listen and do the awareness, a máa ní ìṣòro ilé èdè kí la ṣe sí ọgbọ́n wo la lè dá sí. Tàbá ń bò mọ́lẹ̀ all the time, wọ́n máa ràn sí ni. Torí àwọn ọmọ tí nǹkan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí nílùú ìbá ṣe sọ, wọn ò ní gbàgbọ́ ọ̀dẹ̀ ní forgive. And it results in a lot of mental health. Part of addressing our mental health is that solution. That solution, more, I want to mo ti bá ṣiṣẹ́, nígbà tí wọ́n kọ́ dé lu ọmọ yẹn jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ni ó ń jẹ́ Phillips pàtí kan wá ṣẹlẹ̀ láti pé wọ́n á fara pé Bùnmi gan ni Yorùbá name ẹ̀ ó torí nǹkan tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn parents màtọ́ kọ́ dé lu ẹ̀ in the 60s ó change orúkọ ẹ̀ kò ń bá Nàìjíríà sọ̀rọ̀ wàláì tàdá sọ́mọ́ ìlàtí láwà kò ń bá Nàìjíríà sọ̀rọ̀ so but I've always been interested máa council máa sọ̀rọ̀ ó wá open up pé actually ṣé mi mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà lòun but lè mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà ni Michelle Phillips torí that history tó ti happen ní family wọn ó change orúkọ ó cut family and it happens a lot in the Western world. So whilst we live in the Western world, things happen. It is not nice. It's not pleasant. Let's cancel ourselves. Let's support. Let's not alienate ourselves. Let's not be shameful all the time. Allah is merciful. Allah is merciful. And Allah is forgiving. We need to be forgiving ourselves. We need to be supporting ourselves. And where you are, so and that's why I always emphasize on sisterhood. With time and effort. And that's why the issues we're talking about today, but like that's my money. The compensation is minute in the problem. What you need is that support, that physical support, that emotional support that will slowly heal you. It will set you apart from repairing the damage. You know, to society, to community. We need to do that more. Like I'm a economic impact in seeing our priority. We need to get it right. Our priority, our communication, that understanding among ourselves. Damage criminal damage, emotional, you can't be getting to. So it did not ratali mustakim or baffing money. Color to Bafi 1 month and bush. So I call it Kali Suru Talibarawa Bay.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyá wa kí Ọlọ́run ètò tèmi bí ó ṣe gbà náà ni a ti ṣe Ọlọ́run tó jẹ́ wá dùn ju bí a ṣe lérò lọ adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n wà lórí ìrìn àjò náà Ọlọ́run jẹ́ alọ́láyọ̀ kábọ̀ láyọ̀ ọláwùgọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọláàánú Ọlọ́run akí àwa Fọdílà Adébísí Alhaja Fọdílà Adébísí Ọlọ́run bá dúró tì yín Ọlọ́run bá gbàdúrà yín Ọlọ́run tó ti ń gbàdúrà yín lánàá àìní gbàdúrà yín mọ́ Ọlọ́run má fi ṣe tì yín Ọlọ́run wọ́n ní ẹ fi ti ẹ nílẹ̀ gbọ́ tẹ̀lé lẹ́ni Ọlọ́run ló bá gbọ́ tiẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ náà wọlá ìdílé tẹ̀ fi ó bàjẹ́ orí ọyí tí ẹ ń tún ṣe ìdí tí yín Ọlọ́run má jò bàjẹ́ Ọlọ́run ṣé yín ní sí rọ́ọ̀jà mọ̀ ní ìrọ̀ Ọlọ́run bákan náà ìyá wa Rashida Akínsọ́lá ìlàlà àmàmì insha Allah akín ẹ̀kú gbogbo Ọlọ́run tí this is our own Alhaja Rashida Akínsọ́lá is our own in Nasfat Radio TV inshallah she's our own kí Ọlọ́run jọ kí Ọlọ́run má kọ̀ dé àìmọ̀ sí sí yín Ọlọ́run ara yín lọ sọ lóru nídìí ẹ̀sìn Ọlọ́run má jò gbé Alhaja wa Blake Savage láti London kí Ọlọ́run jọ Ọlọ́run máa bá dáadáa fún yín Ọlọ́run ti wà lórí ètò gbádùn yín púpọ̀ gbogbo wa jáde lára yín lọ́mọ Ọlọ́run ṣe wọn lólú ọmọ Ọlọ́run ìmọ́lẹ̀ wọn Ọlọ́run ju eléyìí lọ Ọlọ́run bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀mẹ̀ pé ìyá wọn báyìí ló ṣe rí torí pé ẹ̀mẹ̀ ká fúrọ́ tán ra jẹ tọ́mọ bá dá àti bàbá ni I think that's my boy bọ̀dọ̀ wọn bá kú díẹ̀ káàtó àdíẹ̀ ló jọ Ọlọ́run ṣe àwọn ọmọ alọ́mọ wa lọ́mọ ni wọ́n lẹ́ṣọ́ fún wa bíbí wa ni wọ́n Allahumma rabbana ya rabbana ba'da idh wa hab lana min ladunka rahmatan ربنا تقبل منا أنت السميع العليم ربنا مجيب الدعاء وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك التواب الرحيم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب انت àwọn viewers wa tí ẹ dúró lásìkò yìí láti Nàìjíríà ní láti bíbí ní àsìkò yìí tó bá wá dúró ẹ bá wò Ọlọ́run máa kọjá ìmọ̀ sí sí yín o
Àmín ya Allah.
Ọlọ́run jẹ́ máa rí èèyàn gbẹ̀tẹ̀ bá ń wó láàánú Ọlọ́run ìgbèrè táwọn náà Ọlọ́run má ṣe ní ìbálẹ́jọ́ fún wa o rán wa débẹ̀ kó wá fi ṣe ẹ̀ṣọ́ fún wa ní yawmal qiyamah Ọlọ́run tẹ́ṣe tí ó dájú ní pé ìwọ náà ṣe àìṣe kó délé kó dóko tí náà bá tún gbọ́ tó bá tún wò yóò tún máa ṣẹlẹ̀ mí náà láǹfààní ẹni yóò mọ̀ tẹ́tẹ́lẹ̀ akọ̀rò pé báyà àti wà informed àìmọye kan tó jẹ́ pé àwà informed àìmọye kan mi tó jẹ́ pé kò yé wa ṣùgbọ́n lórí ètò ìlú oúnjẹ kò yé wa ó ń sọ wá di ọ̀tún tí Islam náà wà fún nìyẹn Islam ìdáyà ní ojú ọ̀nà mọ̀ ni pé kí Islam fi wá mọ̀nà kí wá gbòmìnira ó já mọ̀ tí a mọ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó jẹ́ encyclopedia of knowledge láíláí and cannot do Islam in a possible a gbọ́dọ̀ parapọ̀ ká máa kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lára ara wa ni ntọ́lọ́run ṣe dára lórí ìrìnàjò náà ni that is the beauty of Islam àwa kí gbogbo àwọn ìyá wa kọ́lọ̀mbà ṣe dáadáa fún gbogbo tó jáde lára yín lọ́mọ ọlọ́mbà ṣe wọn lólú ọmọ Islam ló so wá pọ̀ ló kó wa jọ Islam náà ọlọ́mọdé ó bàjẹ́ ọlọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn bíi tí à ń jẹ látara Islam ọlọ́run ò bá dáwọ́ ìyá náà dúró ọlọ́run ọlọ́run bá dáwọ́ wàhálà dúró ọlọ́run ọlọ́run ilé wa ọlọ́run jẹ́ máa rí ara pa Islam ń bẹ̀ ká ní báwo ló ṣe ń dùn fún wa báyìí báwo ló ṣe ń dán fún wa báyìí náà Islam ni Islam ló jẹ́ kó máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀ má ṣe wá lẹ́ni tó sọ pé are you a Muslim you don't look like a Muslim ìyẹn máa ń yí wọ́n embarrassing gan kan wá sọ pé wọ́n á ríyàn ti dáadáa ìwà ẹ̀ dáadáa kan wá sọ pé àwọn ò rí pé ìwà mùsùlùmí ni kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ á lè máa ṣe bàbá ṣe nípa mọ́ bàbá ṣe nípa mọ́ ọlọ́run Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wassalamu ká tó lọ tahajjud tún wà ní alẹ́ yìí ó wà lálẹ́ tí a tún ṣàdúà a ti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní ọwọ́ ìrọ̀lẹ́ yìí tó bá tún di alẹ́ 12:30 inshallah Eastern time ẹ pàdé wa tó bá di 11:30 Central time ẹ pàdé wa inshallah Pacific time 9:30 ní Nàìjíríà tẹ́ bá ti sùn àti sunrun ayọ̀ tá a ti jí tá a ti lálàá ayọ̀ ẹ̀já pé Ọlọ́run nìkan bí 5:30 AM inshallah Nigerian time illa amami inshallah wa rafa'nahu مكان علي سبحان ربك
رب العزة عما يصفون سلام والحمد لله صلى الله عليه وسلم السلام عليكم